It's going down like this, motherfucker.
This shit is crazy. The following
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was hoeing. Hump, baby. Shit, bet I do it over time. Say that, nigga. Shit. Bar, back the bar, off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog needs slop Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What? You got to have vision.
Limousine, and every time I'm seen, I got to be clean.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and...
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying.
I just left a light in this bitch.
You hear what I said?
Yes, bitch, I heard you. I'm pretending like I didn't.
Well. Gotta get a piece of my.
Hey, where are the white women at?
Your feet. He looked down, seen his feet. The nigga went berserk, killed the monkey, threw the bat out the window, start kicking that bitch in the air.
Say anyway. But I will. The way quantum entanglement works is that you can take two particles, quantum entangle them, and then take those two particles and move them at any distance in the cosmos. And let's just say, for example, if you quantum entangle two electrons and you have them spinning in the same direction, and then you take one of those electrons and you shoot that thing out 100,000 light years from the original. If you then rotate the spin on the one electron, if you modify it so that its spin changes, the quantum entangled electron at any distance will simultaneously in no time switch its rotation also, because they're quantum entangled. So these communication systems are taking advantage of this aspect of quantum mechanics that most people can't wrap their heads around, and this is what they're utilizing. It's just the new level of science that affords us the ability to communicate at any distance instantaneously.
You don't understand. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am.
Group of you together, you never can tell who's who.
I've seen a lot of black guys, Nipsey, but you're overdoing it. Plus, I'm in love with a bitch I can't stand.
I mean, TikTok. A lot of the white content creators on TikTok get all of their dances from the black content creators.
You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? You're a philosopher? You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
First you tell us that it is manly to keep your word. All right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all that the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well then, show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well then, stick to your word. And let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a worm, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you. And if that's what you're afraid of us, then tell us that's just what you're afraid of. But don't keep hiding it from us and holding this up to us, and every time we ask you for something, you give us a little bit of something, and it's all tokenism. We don't want tokenism. And there are most black men in this world that don't want charity. And yet still every time we ask you for something, you give us a little piece, a little piece. You're playing games with us. We're not children. We're big men. I've seen my father have to put up with all kinds of stuff. He was a big man. He raised a family. He went down south, and he had to go around to the back door with his wife. We're not asking for anything. We're not asking for any favors. All we want is what's ours. Now, there are many black veterans who are coming back, and they're mad. They're angry. Do you think that they're going to sit down through this? Our fathers didn't have the knowledge that we have. They sat through it. But there are other black youth that are not going to sit through it. We know about Che. We know about Fanon. We've read the books of our revolution. We've listened to Mao and his quotations. We know where we stand. We're not going to sit for it. We're asking, and if we ask and we don't get, we're prepared to stand up and take it. If I ask a man, I tell a man I am hungry. I tell him I am cold. And I ask him to do something about my condition. And this man holds a loaf of bread right in front of me so I can see it, and I keep asking him, I'm begging him to please give me a slice of the loaf of bread. I am hungry. Then it is known by every psychologist that the next step in the progression is I am going to knock him upside the head and take the bread from him. I'm not going to starve to death.
But that's all right, because we said even before this happened, and we're going to say it after this, and after I'm locked up, and after everybody's locked up, that you can jail revolutionaries, but you can't jail a revolution. Right. You might run a liberator like Eric Cleave out the country, but you can't run liberation out the country. You might murder a freedom fighter like Bobby Hutton, but you can't murder freedom fighting, and if you do, you party that they can do anything they want to us. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips that I am a revolutionary. And you're going to have to keep on saying that. You're going to have to say that I am a proletarian. I am the people. I'm not the pig. You've got to make a distinction. And the people are going to have to attack the pigs. The people are going to have to stand up against the pigs. That's what the pastors are doing. That's what the pastors are doing all over the world.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama. And you
decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
You got to pray to God and tell God your rent due. Any God that didn't know your rent was due ain't God.
Some people, they feel like you almost have to sell your soul to get fame, or is it just hard work, or is it luck, is it consequence, is it?
No, most of us in sold our soul. We just called it something else.
What's all that noise? Oh, that's just Daddy.
Your lines are still open.
Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass. And then
Come with baggage, just I asked Louis was on.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, that was nice.
I like that.
Bitch niggas, hoe niggas, rich niggas, broke bitch. I told niggas this was on, yeah, right.
My word, can't be my equal, don't know what you heard.
I think we OD. I think we OD.
That's the difference when you're my baby.
Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the check, yeah.
I guess you go to the history of European civilizations. 250 years is how long they last before they implode because of their greed, because of their violence, because of an inability to let others be, including themselves. If they didn't have brown and black people to hate, they would hate themselves.
Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. I hit the loot juice, it pulls up in the heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. I hit the loot juice, it pulls up in the deuce.
No idea the condition that we're in, the psychoneurosis that we suffer. We suffer terrible, terrible blight. We don't know who we are. We use European names, and we just are comfortable with our condition. We really don't know who we are. We have no idea. We're captive, and we're absolutely comfortable with this situation.
Do that dance, baby, do that dance, let's work it out.
Greetings. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only Galactic Daddy-O, welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. Well, it looks like my time to come on in and break down week 14 of the season. You know, what is the first thing I want to say? I kind of want to show this. Oh, they kicked me out. Looks like I'm kicked out. Huh. Well, my son must have did this. My son done kicked me out. I guess I'm not going to be able to show. Oh, yeah. For some reason, it's blocking it.
Alphaba, Glinda. Alphaba, Glinda. I'm a witch, and I'm a witch. But which is which? Well,
I'm supposed to sign in. Oh, maybe. I don't know all this. Anyway, what I was trying to show, if you saw in my video, my short earlier, and what my short showed is, the Chiefs be getting, like, they do not call holding on the Chiefs. No matter what happens, I don't think they called holding on the Chiefs the whole game. And that's what's frustrating. It's like when you see them call holding, like you see them not call holding on one team, and that team goes down and scores, then the next time the other team gets the ball, you see them call holding. And that's very inconsistent. That's totally is inconsistent. To not call holding both ways. To say that the two, because you got the umpire and the referee back there, and you telling me, and that's their job. I mean, each referee has a certain area that they watch, and that's the area where you make your call. And so you got the umpire looking at the guards, and then you have the head ref looking at the tackles. Or they might even split. You watch the left side for holding, I watch the right side for holding. I mean, it's that simple. You got 3, possibly 4 each that you got to watch. And you telling me weekend after weekend, the Chiefs get to hold. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all that they allow this. Oh, well, maybe they will. That they just keep letting it go, keep letting it go, keep letting it go. And that's what we see over and over again. Is them not calling holding on the Chiefs. So that's my only complaint. But we see the same inconsistency in other games. The other games have the same inconsistency where they will not do the other team having holding. They won't call it. They'll let it go. So, and that in its essence shows that it's fixed. I mean, that's just the easiest way. Inconsistent reffing can show that it's fixed. And so I don't think it takes a genius to see that over and over again. The same kind of thing over and over again. So, well, this week, this is up to date. This week I went 8-4. I went 8-4 this week. And so I won the Lions, Steelers, Eagles, Giants, Dolphins. I lost the Titans game, which I don't know how the Jags won with a backup quarterback. I won the Vikings, I won the Bucks, and I won the Seahawks. I lost the Bears, which that was kind of a toss-up. And then I lost the Bills, which was a surprise. And then I lost the Chargers. The Bills was a real big surprise because the Rams ain't that good. So I'm 8-4. Which would make me 140-60. So for the year, I'm 140-60. So it wasn't any big surprises. I was surprised about that the Jags won. That surprised me because I'm pretty sure they had a backup quarterback. But again, the Titans have been weak all year. The 49ers, I'm not sure how they won. They got half the team hurt, and the way they played last week, that's a surprise they won. And then the Bills, I mean, it was a shootout. It was a shootout all the way. That was probably the best game of the day, was the Rams and the Bills. And that game could have went either way. That game could have went either way. And then, I did the Chargers. That was my upset. So, and then we just got the Cowboys tomorrow. So my Sunday was 8-4 this week. So that's how I did. That's how I did this week. So, still every week, I don't do any gematria or any of that. I just go on basically my football instinct and my observation of how the fix is. And that's the best thing about the fix is having an observation of how the fix is and trying to understanding how they're going to do the fix. That's what our job is, because we know it's fixed, but trying to break down how the fix is done every week. And so we see that Rodgers, they trying to get rid of Rodgers, so he pretty much the bad guy. Now, Kirk Cousins was one that they want that. They kept showing that, what is his name, Penrith Jr.? They kept showing him sitting on the bench. Kirk Cousins, he's pretty much cooked with his money. He's pretty much cooked. I don't see how you wouldn't. And a lot of his money, I think, is guaranteed. So we have to see, how much dead money they're willing to take to start this other boy, and you paying Kirk Cousins, because you could waive him and save a little money, but we'll see. I don't know. I think they're gonna let the ship sink with Kirk Cousins. So, but who's with me today? What's happening, everybody? Ooh, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. We got PJ Allen.
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
We got Jamar 3224.
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
Okay, the refs help with the fix. I wonder how much more of the $900 million does NFL owe the state of Missouri? Well, but it's funny. This is the way they like fixing things. They like fixing dynasty, especially in football. Look at football, because think about even if you look at the history of football, for a time, what you were seeing is you were seeing the Bears and you were seeing the Giants and the Colts. Now, the Packers had a run in the 60s, but the Packers also had a run in the 30s or 40s when they had Don Hudson. So they had those runs as well. But the Packers, the Packers dynasty in the 60s. Then you had Pittsburgh, who was one of the most losing franchises in the history of the NFL. In the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, wasn't until the 70s they let Pittsburgh be good again. And then we know Pittsburgh has made it the last Tomlinson. He hasn't had a losing season with them. But the NFL, and then we had, remember, Dallas won 3 out of 4. We had San Francisco. So the NFL likes dynasty. We can already look at, that's part of their marketing plan. Because all they did with Tom Brady is they said, okay, we need a Michael Jordan. That's what they did with Tom Brady. Now, they had it a little bit with Bo Jackson. When Bo Jackson was playing, he was getting more, Michael Jordan's commercials was less than Bo Jackson's commercial. They put more money into Bo Jackson. Because again, Bo went over 2 seasons. The Bo Knows campaign was, I think anybody can arguably say it was more popular than the Michael Jordan. What? Okay. All right. What? Get your black ass out then. I'll throw something at you. But yeah, Tom Brady was nothing more than the Michael Jordan of football. And they love to have teams win multiple years in a row. And so they looked at this hybrid kind of person, because that's the other thing, they've created these hybrid kind of people, and that's what we see with him. His daddy was probably, I've said this before, Pat Mahomes Sr. is probably the best athlete I've ever met. I mean, he could dunk on you in basketball. I mean, great athlete. He had scholarships to play football, basketball, and baseball. He could have signed football for the University of Texas. So his daddy and what is Pat? 6'3", 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", senior. So he was a hybrid. Hey, Dr. Sinister, thank you for joining.
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
Oh, my son's funny. Matt, that's my son. What's happening?
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
They tried to one-up Jordan with Brady. Yeah, of course, is what they were trying to do. But that was, when they looked at the success of the NBA, they did nothing but copy that and say, we want a copy of that. We need our Michael Jordan. You could see Goodell sitting there like, we need our, and we know there was the, like really what should have woke people up was the Tuck Rule game. That should have woke everybody up, that they did a fix on national TV right in your face. It was a clear fumble, and they say the reason Gordell is the commissioner is because he was the one that was looking through that yearbook, looking through the rule book. And remember, between timeouts, TV timeouts, and everything, reviewing it, they on the clock. They said he was the one that came up with the Tuck Rule. And you see how he got thanked by being the NFL commissioner. They say he was the one in the commissioner's office that came up and was like, hey, throw the Tuck Rule out there. Which we know it was a clear fumble. And then they did a mocking by showing the whatever 20th, 30th, whatever anniversary of it. And Woodson still would not say that it wasn't a fumble, because it was clearly a fumble, and it was clearly not to let the Raiders go to the Super Bowl. They wanted to keep their thing because, again, if Tom Brady would have been caused to fumble, more than likely Belichick would have went back to Drew, the other Drew. So that would have been the end of Tom Brady. That fumble right there, and Belichick's personality. Oh, and let's get into Belichick. They said Belichick is signed up he interviewed for the North Carolina job. Now, one thing of college football is you got to be able to be relatable. And you still have to be relatable to the parents. So you going in there with 40-year-old, 30-year-old parents, 40-year-old parents, and here you are in your 70s. How are you relatable? This man ain't never recruited. He's never recruited. He coached pro from the start of his career. His daddy knew somebody. I forget what his daddy had some kind of supplier like job with the NFL. So that's how he kind of got his start, because he didn't play. But could you see Belichick being, in your living room, wearing a Super Bowl ring, trying to convince you? And what you going to talk about when it's other than the school? What else you going to talk about? How you going to sell yourself? What, you going to talk about your old Super Bowl stories, and that's how you going to sell yourself? And he's not going to like the NILs. Now, unless, he can get that bread, unless he goes in understanding, because that's the problem with most modern coaches, especially in college. They don't like giving up that power. Now the players have the power, and you know that the lawyers are trying everything to regain the power. They don't like that the players have the power and the players can leave when they want to leave, because it does take the power away from these ego-driven coaches. They can't be in their egos again because they can't destroy your careers. You can keep your career in your own hands. And when we get into this unlimited eligibility, when they start putting that into play, it's fully going to be the players' league. Because you're going to always be a free agent. That's the beautifulness of what college has turned it into. You can always be a free agent. Every year you can be a free agent. And that's a plus for the players. Why do you think they penalized them so hard? Because it was slavery. The old system was slavery. You had you lose a whole year of your peak, of your prime. You had to lose a whole year of your prime because of the NCAA's ego, because they did not want the players to have power. And as I've said before, if you go back into the 20s and 30s, it was known players was getting paid. And that didn't even go away until that's why what they did to SMU made no sense. That was the system back then. But they just tried to make it they were trying to just fuck with SMU, make an example of it, with SMU. But that was the system. The system was crooked. It's always been crooked. But the only thing is the NCAA was getting paid and didn't have to share any bread with the players. So, Saban left Bama because of the lost part. Look at the basketball coach of Virginia. Look at him. Ego-driven, all these ego-driven people. And now they don't have the power. They can't deal with it. They don't want to deal with it because they don't have power anymore like they had. And that's all ego. And it's mostly European coaches just talking about they fed up with it. And it's not even European anymore. I'm sorry I keep saying that. It's European occupiers. That's what it is, the European occupiers. That's or the ones that's holding the prisoner of war, but it's European occupiers. It's like the word white supremacy. There's nothing supreme about these people. Their goal is to continue European occupation of America. That's their goal. And whatever they can do to protect European occupation. I'm kind of getting off a little bit, but but that's mostly it's been is European coaches. You see, Dion is accepting it. You ain't heard that brother in Michigan complaining about it, but it's these European occupying coaches that don't like the Porto because their egos and their power trip is gone. Do you know how many careers they've destroyed just because of spite? Knowing that you got a great player, but time catches up, and and you put the bad word on him, he don't get drafted. I mean, look how they purposely tried to destroy people. McCants. I think it was Keith McCants should have been the top pick. Put some poison out there. Tunstall. Remember Tunstall? Tunstall was supposed to be, I think he's with, who is Tunstall with? The Dolphins right now? Remember, he was supposed to be the top 4 or 5 pick, and they messed around and put that video out there of him smoking weed with that mask on, smoking a bong with the gas mask type of on. I mean, this is how they try to ruin people to take their bread away. Remember how Geno, what is Geno's name up with the Seahawks? Geno Smith. Remember how they purposely shamed him, didn't draft him, drafted weaker players? Dan Marino. Look at how they shamed Dan Marino. Look how they shamed Randy Moss. Shamed all these people. Really, they shamed Hernandez, but, you know, it was out there that Hernandez was shaky anyway, so. And I still say even that was a psyop. Oh, D-Line Cruz, what's happening? Thank you for joining.
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
And so, but it makes the college game better. It makes the college game better. And I know Deion and them, it's funny. They beat Kansas. They in the Big 12 finals. So I know he wants to kick himself. I know he wanted to kick himself over what happened. Let's see, football bracket. See if I can pull the bracket up. And as their March Madness. Here we go. Just the playoff brackets. Quarterfinals, first round. Okay, is this? Oh yeah, this is okay. This is first round. So I'll do my picks later on this, but so right now the first games on the 21st, we're talking about a couple weeks, is going to be Clemson and Texas, and they'll play Arizona State, the winner of that. We've got Tennessee and Ohio State. They're going to play winner faces number 1 Oregon, which I'm, from what Ohio State losing to Michigan to say that coach's job, they might let them. That's my sleeper pick is Ohio State. They really might let Ohio State go. Then we got SMU and Penn State. This is the weakest late. Georgia, because I think Georgia has the easiest though. Georgia has the easiest. Check this out. Georgia will either have to play SMU, Penn State, or Boise State. So Georgia really has the easiest of everybody. It would be Georgia. Georgia has the easiest schedule, I think, of anybody is Georgia. Because Georgia is going to end up having to play Boise State. If Boise State, this team wins, they'll face Boise State. Boise State, the next step would be Georgia. So Boise State. So Georgia, to me, has the easiest of them all. Easiest of them all. So, Ohio State is my sleeper pick. It's Ohio State. That's my sleeper pick. Now, Oregon looks the best. Not sure if they're going to pull it out. Oregon does, but yeah, Oregon has a tough bracket. Exactly. Oregon's going to have to face Ohio State or Tennessee. So, yeah, it's going to be tough for Oregon. Yeah, Boise State, did they deserve to be there? And this is what I've always said about them and why they really don't want this. Because, they fuck around and win. See, now it's all about the bread, and it's all about who the bread you can bring in. If you on TV enough, you bringing in that bread, then you can get the best players, and that's how it should be. That's how it should be. And let me see. And so they don't want a Boise State to win the championship. They don't want that. But I still say that Georgia has the easiest route. Georgia has the easiest route of all. And of course, number 2. But looking at, let me see, what is Oregon will have to play 8-9 winner. And so, they'll still, Georgia, it's going to be tough for Arizona State. And Arizona State, I wasn't that impressed with them. So we'll see. They'll have to play 4. They'll have to play the 4th seed. So I think Georgia has the toughest time. And then going into bowl games, the Bahama Bowl will be Buffalo at Liberty. My Gophers to play Virginia Tech. In the Duke's Mayo Bowl, we got First Responder Bowl. They just be making some shit up now, y'all. Texas, we got Texas. We got North Texas and Texas State. We have the Gator Bowl, which I played in. That's one of the few stadiums, other than my home stadium at A&T and the Orange Bowl. These are only three places I've played that still exist of the pro stadiums that I played in. The Gator Bowl is Duke and Ole Miss. This should be good. Baylor and what is this? Texas Bowl, I guess. It just says Texas Bowl. It's going to be Baylor and LSU. That should be a pretty good game. Citrus Bowl should be a pretty good game. Illinois and South Carolina. South Carolina had a pretty good squad. The Sun Bowl is going to be Louisville and Washington. What is this? Relia Quest Bowl is going to be a replay of Michigan, Alabama. The Music City Bowl is going to be Missouri and Iowa. We have the Independence Bowl. We're going to have Army and Marshall. Alamo Bowl is going to be a good game because it's going to be BYU and Colorado. Military Bowl is going to be North Carolina State and East Carolina. Arizona Bowl is going to be Colorado State and Miami. We have the Pop-Tarts Bowl. It's going to be Miami versus Iowa State. We have the New Mexico Bowl, TCU and Louisiana. We have the Pinstripe Bowl. Oh, that's going to be up in New York. It's going to have Boston College, Nebraska. Fenway Bowl, North Carolina, Clemson. North Carolina, UConn. And North Carolina fired their coach, that old man, so he ain't even get to coach in the bowl game. Las Vegas Bowl is going to be USC, which did not look good all year, and Texas A&M. Holiday Bowl, we got Syracuse, Washington State. Liberty Bowl, we've got Texas Tech and Arkansas. Armed Forces Bowl, we got Oklahoma and Navy. Birmingham Bowl, Georgia Tech, they end up coming tough. Georgia Tech it plays Vanderbilt. 68 Ventures, we've got Arkansas State, Bowling Green. The Rate Bowl, we got Kansas State at Rutgers. Game Above Sports Bowl, we got Pitt and Toledo. Hawaii Bowl, we got South Florida and San Jose State. Potato Bowl, it's 1,000 of these. Fresno State, Northern Illinois. Remember, you only had to win 6 games to get a bowl. Coastal Carolina, the Myrtle Beach Bowl is Coastal Carolina, University of Texas, San Antonio. What's this? Gasapala Bowl is Florida Tulane. Then we got the Cure Bowl, which is Ohio versus Jackson State. We got the New Orleans Bowl, Georgia Southern versus Sam Houston. We have LA Bowl, Cal versus UNLV. Then we have Boca Raton Bowl, Western Kentucky, James Madison. We have the Frisco Bowl, Frisco, Texas, though. Memphis versus West Virginia. And then we have IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. Where's that? Oh, Montgomery, Alabama. University of Alabama. No, not Alabama. That is, who plays? University of Montgomery. I don't know who plays in that place, but South Alabama and Western Michigan. And then we got the Celebration Bowl, which is the Negro Bowl. We got Jackson State playing South Carolina State. So I think this is a good start of to see how this tournament's going to be. Again, we know it's fixed. So we know that the winner is already predetermined. But, you know, our job is understanding the fix and then figure it out. I got a very special humiliation ritual prepared. Okay, I hear you. All right. You still mad at that nigga, huh? All right. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's good for sports. It's definitely good for the players and even high school players. And I want to see more courts, you know, start challenging the high school guys, because that's what they're trying to put out there, the high school guys. What? Y'all won't believe this. Wow. I've been friends on Facebook with this chick for years, Robin Ayers. I did not know this chick was famous. I've been Facebook with her for at least friends for 10 years. Wow, Robin Ayers. Yeah, I've been Facebook friends with her for a good 10 years. Did not even know she was famous. She died at 44. Wow. I guess I hadn't seen her on there in a while. Wow. I've been friends with her on Facebook for a long time. Did not know. Never. I guess I didn't pay enough attention to her page that this chick is famous. Wow. Well, what do we say, PJ? If they take a drink from the beast cup, the beast can come calling. I did not know this chick was famous. I did not know this. Journalist, beloved radio host at KBLA, was somewhere in the West, has died at 44. Sorrow, formerly known as Twitter, reached the behalf of the families. Profound sadness announces passing beloved colleague Robin Ayers. Robin was a bright light. You could see a radiant smile through the radio. We respect him. Respected her immense talent and jovial spirit. Ayers, who worked at since 22, The Report with Robin Ayers during the weeks. The show covered entertainment news and featured dozens of celebrity people. Wow. Lee Bailey raved about her talent and she made on the industry. I'm deeply saddened by the passing. Wow. Man. Yeah, I've been friends with her forever. Wow. I am so surprised. Yeah, that's right. If you sip from that cup. But yeah, this surprises me. Yeah, it's funny. I'm also friends with, we just had John Amos pass, and I've been friends with his daughter for probably 12, 13 years. I've been friends with his nephew too, Jim Redwolf. He comes in the channel every now and then. But Robin Ayers, I'll be damned. That is so sad. That is so sad that she passed. I did not know. I did not know she was famous like that. Beloved animal rescue pilot is buried with a puppy he tried to save. It's not funny, but it kind of is funny. I'd be having like, Fido, you ain't gonna make it. Be like, Fido, you ain't gonna make it. What? The ruby slippers sold for 20? What? They've been stealing these shoes for the last so many years because they got a museum here. They got a Wizard of Oz museum because Judy Garland is from North Carolina. And these were gone for a minute. Fetched the all-time record for entertainment when they sold on Saturday for $28 million. Wow. $28 million. Now, I don't know if y'all saw the Wizard of Oz, but the version we saw was changed because, I'm still like, I saw it in reruns, of course. I wasn't born in 1939. I'm old, but I wasn't that damn old. But the version I saw at the very end, she's home, of course, and all the people are around her. And so that's how the ending that I saw. But my mother saw the original ending where she wakes up with all her family around her and she's still wearing the ruby slippers. So I never saw that version. And there's a lot of, the Wizard of Oz has a lot of, gold, follow the yellow brick road, get off of silver, follow gold. So that surprises me because somebody was always stealing them. Oh, here's one. I made a video last night about Saturday Night Live where they was making fun of him. And he said, are you gonna, and they made this joke, last night. He signed with the Mets. I'm pretty sure he signed with the Mets. Although linked to Jamaican Stars competitive offer signed, with the Mets. And yesterday, if you watched, my short I did, it's like, unless you're gonna do charity, because it's like, won't you give up some of your money for charity? And he said, well, I guess I could sign with the Mets. And damn if they already knew. Now they gave one man, he signed until I think, what was it, a 15-year deal? What was the deal? Yeah, 15-year deal. And he's 26, I think, right now. And again, this is how baseball players, because baseball players are screwed so much in, there's so many players that they screw in the minor leagues, bringing them up, taking them down, bringing them up, taking them down, making their control of the squad having more control over years. So they need this bread, but we're not far away from $1 billion player. And they're going to, the first $1 billion player is definitely going to be one of the European occupiers. That's going to be the first $1 million player. So, and the sacred ball game was created in South America, Mexico, South America. So they deserve this bread. They deserve this bread. So right on. They want to give it to you, give it to you. 15-year. Wow. 15-year deal. He had played with the Nationals, San Diego, and played for the Nationals, Padres, and Yankees. Now he joins the Mets. Recorded average of 268, 201 home runs, 592 runs batted in. The Yankees reached the World Series and lost. Signed with the Nationals, international free agent of 15. So already he's been in the league 9 years. Already almost going on 10. This is 10 years. Made his debut in 18 and was runner-up for the Rookie of the Year. Won the World Series with the Nationals in 19, so he's already won a World Series. 20 won the batting league title. He hit 351. The left-hand hitter also won the Silver Slugger Award 5 times and a 4-time All-Star. Signed with the Mets. It's likely a team that lost out on the start would shift their focus to average out to available outfielders. Signed in the coming weeks. Was it Teoscar Hernandez signed in the coming weeks? There are several other free agents who have to sign with the team, but Soto's deal with news everybody was waiting for. Yeah, Saturday Night Live made fun of it last night. They made fun of it last night. So if you watch my little short, they made fun of it last night. So get that bread. That's what I say. What did it say here? Trump sent message to Kamala Harris supporters during Meet the Press. Well, and it's like people, like a lot of the people that mostly voted for Harris was voting against Trump. The people that voted for Trump voted for Trump. They wasn't voting against anything. Oh, this is really cool. This is really cool. Yeah, let me show this. This is really cool. Dick Allen made the Hall of Fame, which he should. I mean, he was MVP. He was Rookie of the Year, MVP, solid dude. I put a picture of him smoking a cigarette in the locker. It's funny. Both these dudes who made it. It's Dave Parker. There's pictures of both of them smoking cigarettes in the dugouts. Now Dick Allen is passed, but Dave Parker is still alive, and he's not doing well. He's in a wheelchair, and he's just in his 70s, I think. So I would have written the same thing, and 8 candidates under consideration be picked. All of them played a key part in baseball history. Allen was long overdue for the selection. He fell short both his last 2 times. Okay. There's no one really to blame, but it would have been nice they could have gave it to him when he was alive. See anything about Dave Parker? Allen topped out at 18%. And this is for the older players too. I think that's how they both got in. See, this is what held him out. Allen had a well-documented history of clashes with managers, the media, even fans in Philadelphia, who threw so many things from him at the stands. He had to wear a batting helmet while playing in the field. Exactly. So that had a lot to do why they took him out. He's one handful of best sluggers in the game. His time, the level exceeded my threshold in both 5 years and 10 years measurement. He completed 58.3 BWAR, 64 to 74, while putting up 940 OBS and 164 OBS plus during same time. His epic season was 73. The American League was a composite 3.7. He hit 308, league leading totals of 37 home runs and 113 RBIs. He also led the league in walks and on-base percentage. So he was definitely. As for Parker, he's similar in that half the decade or so, he's one of baseball's very brightest stars. In the running for the best of the game stats during the late 70s, too, was often off the chart, especially in his legendary throw. That's what I was about to say, his throwing arm. He's got a sweet couple plays where you can see him throw out people from the outfield. He was MVP, a frequent all-star, a multiple gold glove winner, 2-time batting champion. He was the best player on a championship team in 79. We are family with Pittsburgh. Parker's peak was fairly short largely because of injuries and off-field problems, but he also overcame those issues to have amazing. I think he was on that Kane top 5 MVP battling for the Reds. 34, 35 season. He won the second World Series with the Oakland A's. I forgot of that in 89. Hammered 3 postseason home runs at 38. My Hall standard, Parker's over threshold for his 5-year measure, but a little shy in his 10-year career in value. Again, I'm thrilled for the Cobra. So, but Dick Allen definitely, see, he's going out in the field because people was throwing shit at him, so he would play in the field with this helmet. And, you know, he had to, you know, face a lot of that racism. You know, he played in the early 60s. He went in like 61, 62, I think. So, you know, he had to deal with a lot of racism in his career. So keep that under consideration. But he deserved it. He deserved it. He definitely deserved it. Cats that I used to have his 3D baseball card. I don't have it anymore. And now his 3D baseball card is going to be worth more. Dave Parker from the Reds. Yeah, he played for the Reds. Yeah, he played for the Reds. I forgot that he had played with Mark McGuire and them for Oakland. I forgot he had played that long. But that's how, you know, brothers can play in baseball forever. Boston City Council. Oh, there's somebody else. So I was happy to see that. Happy to see him make it. And they said that Dion got $600,000 in bonuses. So, you know, I just would not give up my power. If I was him, I wouldn't want to be in the NFL. I definitely wouldn't want to be for Jerry Jones. Because one thing, if you learned about Jerry Jones, is Jerry Jones always wants to, he doesn't care if he wins. They pack that place no matter what. And the Lions is a prime example of that. Lions ain't been trying to win until recently. Long as they got sold out places, that's all the Lions cared about, was selling out Ford Field. That's all they cared about. And the Cowboys is the same way. They got the biggest stadium at what, 75, 80,000? I think when it's a football game, they can put 80,000 in there, if not 100,000. So that's all. But he likes having the highest paid quarterback. He gave Tony Romo all that money, and Tony Romo wasn't that good at all. Did he ever win a playoff game? And so now getting Dak that money, and Dak really was always borderline average. So he gave Dak all that money. But that's all he cares about. You know, he wants to have his trophies, you know, and that's what he looks at. Is his quarterback's going to be the highest paid no matter what he does. Here you go in gear. I don't know. Cop or pass. Cop or pass. These Kobe's is coming out. When they coming out? Kobe, blah, blah, blah. Drop Christmas colorway. Pass or pick up. I say pass. These shoes is hard to put on. These shoes are really hard to put on. So this is a pass for me. I wouldn't want these. The finesse, what's happening?
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
What's going on, Big Pontiac? Those are facts. The Lions used to sell out the Silverdome with Barry and Ford Field with Calvin while being trash. Absolutely. Absolutely. They were absolutely trash. So when is these coming out? These are scheduled to be released, Thursday. So if you want to pay, how much are they? $240. $240 for these. Very hard to put on. Probably comfortable, but very hard to put on. So it's a pass for me. It's a pass for me. Yeah, I wouldn't want them. And I'm getting where I don't even have room to put stuff. I don't even have. Let's see. Is this put it out there a little better? Yeah. Okay. This puts it in there. This is what I was kind of looking for. So you see Georgia, like right here, Georgia had to play Notre Dame or Indiana. All right. Notre Dame or Indiana. But right here, and then Georgia will end up having to play. You see, that's why I said Georgia has it the easiest. If Georgia moves here, look at who they might have to play. SMU, Penn State. You see, and then say Boise State does beat Penn State, which I doubt. I say here, Penn State's going to beat SMU, and then Penn State will beat Boise State. So Georgia will have to play Penn State. So they got the easiest. It's set up for Georgia to win if you really look at it. Again, Texas has a pretty easy road because Texas going to beat Clemson, which is they're not as strong this year. Texas should make it, but Texas is going to have to face Oregon or Ohio State. So I'm kind of feeling Ohio State, but we'll see. But looking at this right now, it's set up, to me, it's set up for Georgia to win it all. That's the way it looks like. It's set up for Georgia to win it. If you look at who has the tougher road, because look at Oregon going to have to play Ohio State. But then they're going to probably face Texas. So Oregon's going to have to play Texas right here. So it's going to be a little, this bracket is harder than this bracket. And really, they should have had the easiest bracket, but they gave the easiest bracket to Georgia. They gave the easiest bracket to Georgia. So just looking at this, the way it's set up, again, my dark horse is going to be Ohio State. Oh, and you know, my Eagles won today. So the Eagles are in the playoffs. Their win today, they made the playoffs. And the Vikings. Kirk Cousins sucks. Oh, did anybody watch Bronny James play last night? They had their game televised. And he did. He does that block like his daddy in a minute. Dude had a fast break on him. That dude went up and didn't dunk it. Shit, Bronny got that shit. Then he had a nice alley-oop last night. I think it was the alley-oop he had was last night. I wonder if they got a picture of it. Because he had a nice alley-oop. Man, he had 16, 4 rebounds. Let me see. He has, in 22 minutes, he had 16 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. 6 out of 5. He missed all. He shot 4 3-pointers and missed them all. But they didn't count his block. He had a block too. He looked good though. I thought he looked good. They didn't have that alley-oop. I thought he looked good last night. So I think he's just as good as Patrick Beverly. I think he's good as that dude named Vincent that the Lakers keeping now. I think he's better than Vincent. I think it's just Vincent is a veteran. That's the only thing is experience. But I think he's better than Vincent. So, and they kept Vincent, so you can't say, they don't keep that type of guy. But I'd cut Vincent and bring him up. It's just, again, he doesn't have the he didn't have the experience. Uh-oh. What's Kenny Smith saying? Oh, Kenny Smith saying Jordan didn't have handles. Jordan would just go right too. That was the only other thing. He liked to go to his right. That's why the Pistons say, the Jordan rules was make him go left. Isaiah breaks it down, make him go left. No matter what, make him go left. And, again, to me, it's, the most dominant player ever was Wilt. And then, like Wilt was dominant his whole life, except even in college, Wilt was dominant where they fixed it for him to lose. He played, a 3-4 overtime game. I think it was his junior year before he went to the Globetrotters. And really didn't have it was like they stalled a little bit, and it was a low scoring game. It's like, I think they lost 57, 56, something like that. But a person that just won his whole career was definitely Kareem. Kareem won on every level. He only lost a couple games when he was in high school. He lost 1 or 2 games in college, dominated player of the year. And then look at the NBA. What is he? A 5-6-time champion, 5-6-time champion, 6-time MVP, was the scoring leader. I mean, how more dominant do you have to be? He had a shot that people should do today, but they don't. He had an unstoppable shot. I think Wilt and another dude, maybe Nate Thurman were the two, they'll only block it. Wilt blocked it a couple times when they got their streak broken by Kareem. But I don't know. It's hard to say that Jordan was so much better than them. Now more athletic, more charisma, I'll give that to him. But Wilt definitely, his impact of the game was greater. Again, you couldn't cross the foul line because of Wilt. They widened the lane because of Wilt. They took away goaltending because of Wilt. So, And Wilt and Kareem could have played in any time period. Any time period, Wilt and Kareem. Kareem shot, as I've talked about the Globetrotters and Goose Tatum being able to make half court consistently make half court hooks. And then later Metal Arc Lemon did it, but consistently could make hooks. And if you watch a game from the 30s or 40s, everybody hooking. So there ain't no jump shot. This dude's shooting deep hooks. So to say Kareem couldn't play in today's game. And that gets me into Steph Curry. One thing about Steph Curry, now his size, and just like we saw with Iverson, his size hurt him, and he ended up getting hurt. Shortened his career, slowed him down because of hurting. But Steph Curry wearing not New Balance, what is the H shoe? Wearing those shoes, Under Armour, wearing those Under Armour shoes, especially when they first. Because I remember I bought a pair of Under Armour shoes at 9 or 10, and I've said this before. They weren't any different than Stephen Barry shoes. Stephen Barry, yeah, that's what Steph Marbury's was. Stephen Barry. Those shoes, and I bought those at at a Marshalls. Marshalls get their clothes from Macy's, and those shoes weren't any better. It was all plastic shoe. Used to end up cutting grass in them. Couldn't really hoop in them, but that fucked up his ankle. And now you see that, again, he's slowing down. But wearing, and that's why it's going to be interesting with Brown. Because, again, you got to test these things. And that's what happened to the Big Baller brand. They ain't really test them shoes, and as I've said before with, who it was another guy before that ended up not testing his shoes. Like Karl Malone didn't have a popular shoe, but he had a company that personally made him shoes. And that was all they did, is they just made him shoes. So shoes, I know they want to strike out on their own, but you have to see if they start having these issues. If you start having these issues. And that's the problem with getting new shoes. Jonathan Winters. Jonathan Winters is a funny motherfucker. It's funny how there's talented people, but talented people that never really got their chance, and Jonathan Winters was one of them. Just like Wanda Sykes, she never really got her chance. But Jonathan Winters is like that too. He never really got his chance to his niche. Because that's the biggest thing for entertainers, is you got to get your niche. And without that niche, you just an entertainer. It may never, who is this? Who'd he go to? A few hours, Big Ten championship, I'll stay another coach. Oh, UCF. Scott Frost is going back to UCF. Actually, Scott Frost didn't do a bad job at Nebraska. He had some tough breaks, but so Scott Frost is going back to UNCF. Okay, and they've historically had a good program. They got some bread. And did y'all know that USCF was a CIA college? I don't know if y'all knew that or not. They, if you look up the Bay of Pigs, that has something to do with the Kennedy assassination, the storming, them training these people. UNCF is where they trained. Yeah, the finesse says, what's good? Oh, okay, that's the same. Oh, did y'all see Assad? There's some speculation that Assad's helicopter got shot down, but I've heard that he took off and landed in Russia. So I don't know which one, but it seems like, the U.S. helped take over Assad. They've been wanting to overthrow Syria and Assad for years. But, them Assad and his daddy, they was no nice people either. Remember, the daddy killed about 6,000 people. And then all he did is he paved over it. He paved over where their village was. He killed 6,000 people, and the daddy just paved over it. So he was definitely a dictator. So was his son. But it's like, why did the army stop fighting? You know? Oh, this is a Tyler Perry sacrifice. Check this out in the morbid news. Steve Mish, president of Tyler Perry Studios, died at 62. Misspelled. It's Boo Mahadam. Okay. Steve Mersh, an exec. So this mug right here. Film executive in Georgia who pushed pushed for state policy to support the industry, who was the president of Tyler Perry Studio. He died in a plane crash. Again, once you drink that, you take a sip, they gonna get you eventually. He was the sole occupant of so he was flying himself. Okay, it's easy to get you when you're by yourself. Wow. He worked for more than 8 years, managing the 330-acre. It was once home to Fort McPherson. Mogul, Black American, decommissioned base. He bought the base for $30 million. Decommissioned base. There's been, what else does it say about him? Other shows and films have been in the studio, including Perfect Pitch 3, The Walking Dead, and Black Panther. Social media, loved flying, and he loved his plane. You know, he probably didn't have a cheap plane either. After graduating in 85, business degree, got his start in the entertainment industry at Feature Systems, which provided equipment for filmmakers. He became an executive at Turner Broadcasting, where he ran the studio business for 10 years. Became known as a liaison between the entertainment industry and the state government. He lobbied for policies that made deals that supported Georgia-based entertainment companies while working at Turner. When I started at the Georgia Film 28 years ago, I was already a fixture on the Burgeoning film industry, instrumental in the growth of studios in Georgia even before joining Tyler Perry. So you take a drink. The beast is always feasting on the buffet of souls. There you go. There you go. And you know, I've said, oh man, I got a picture of it. Whoa, let's see if I can capture this. Let's see. I got a picture of it. Damn, this motherfucker fell out the sky in this bitch. Look at that shit. Ooh, he fell out the sky in that motherfucker. Let me see if I can bring that back. Look at that. See if I can freeze it. Oops. Wow. So this wasn't a very big plane. Actually, it was quite small. Wow. Wow. Fell out the sky in that. And this still was probably a $200,000 plane. I mean, the front end is all tore up, so we can't really tell, but they got him. I mean, it's obvious a hit. This was an obvious hit. This ain't like the hit we saw on the dude from the pharmaceutical company, but it still was a hit. But it was a sacrifice for Tyler Perry, so got one of them this time, though. Usually they want to sacrifice the brothers and the sisters, but this time, they got one of them. Well, that's the price. And some people don't mind paying that price. Some people don't mind paying that price. And that's, it's like people, like you watch Bedazzled, and Bedazzled had where the devil, when he would, and it was like Santa. It was the same way with Dear Santa. Dear Santa, it was the same way. You get the 3 wishes. And we saw Bedazzled, all the wishes backfired. You got the wishes, but they backfired. Remember, they made him a dope dealer, and he found out that his woman cheated on him, and he got busted the same day. He became a big dope dealer, a cartel dealer. Then when he played basketball, they made a thing against Shaq. And Shaq supposedly, his tool ain't very big. His family Jews supposedly is not very much for a 7-foot person. So they made fun of Shaq. And so Damn Yankees is very similar. It's a song, whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. And so, it's that all over again. It's a lot of people that sell out, sell their soul for even less. A lot of people sell their soul not even for fame. They'll sell their energy signature for even less than fame. So, I mean, just think about drug dealers. Think about drug abusers. Like true drug abusers, they'll sell their soul for the next hit, the next fix, the next crack, the next meth. I mean, they get that low, and that's what they'll start praying for. They'll start praying to the dope god to give them a miracle to give me a rock, or give me a miracle to give me some meth, powder, heroin. And then you see, you can see, because that's like, especially, a drug like crack, it's all demonic. It's a very demonic drug that inhaling it, I mean, cocaine in general is a very demonic drug. That's why it makes people so paranoid. And I mean, that demon be right on you. I just remember sitting in the trap houses and shit, it just tripping off the people, looking behind the refrigerators, and I've told this story many times, but I mean, it's just, it's sillier than silly, it's sillier than silly, but it's very demonic. And, so person will sell their soul for a fucking dime bag of crack. So it's not all about for fame. People will sell their soul for way less than fame. Oh. I was watching the Shaq and Penny thing, and it was so fucked up that they didn't really? This dude died? No, when did he die? Let's see. I don't think I saw this one Wednesday. I guess this guy named a comedian. I don't know. Anybody seen this comedian? I don't know who this comedian is. This is more the morbid news. Comedian Kabar Singh died at 39. Let's see if they'll tell more. Singh's fiance confirmed, representative for America Got Talent. Oh, so he was on American Got Talent. Brought joy and laughter. Many of his incredible talent would be missed. Okay, is that all? Yeah, that's all. So I don't remember American Got Talent. Oh, okay, this is him doing this stand up in high school. Wow. Now think about it. This is a reality show, dude. This is a reality show. He wasn't even really famous. He reality show famous. And they took him out. Because again, the price has cheapened. The price has cheapened for them to take your energy signal. It's cheap now. I mean, now you got the YouTube people, them coming after YouTube, the people with the big fame, they coming after them to say, no, this is the cup. That's why, it's better to have small channels because, I ain't had to sell nothing. The money I made on here ain't life changing, ain't definitely making me famous. I got a few people that is cool with me and I'm cool with that. As I've said before, it don't matter if 100,000 people watching, no matter what, I'll do the best I can to give the information that I can give out. That's what it's about. I've always said from day one, I give freely. And I hate to harp on it again, but gold is 260. I think gold got up to 2,700. So it's still, the gold around your neck is still worth it. It's still working for you. My mantra for 25 will be Jack Johnson. Oh, and Bitcoin dropped almost $3,000, right? Or is that 30,000? 3,000. Yeah, $3,000. It dropped because it was a high of 101. Yeah, 101,600 was a high. So right here it says you lost 1,000. So it's dropped like 3,000. So still, and just think you could have got in the last 2 years. This hit, I think it was maybe the last 3 years, but it hit down to 7,000. And look at it now. Ethereum is still, Ethereum has went up. I think when I first started my channel and talking about Ethereum, it was down to hundreds. So BNB is this is United States coin, and this is what they're going to switch everything to is USD right here. They're gonna because that's United States coin, so that's only $1. So you pay $1, you can get those shares. But Ethereum, that's not a bad bet, and Bitcoin is still there too. So, hey, what's happening, Don Juan?
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
I have not played, and I need to go join the gym because my ass is fat. I ain't even been walking. My wife was like up here on the She was up here on this motherfucker today. She's running, walking on that motherfucker. I ain't been on that bitch. I am 5'11" and Sly is 5'5". Therefore, Sly is actually beneath you. Okay. Because I'm only 6 foot. I ain't really shrunk. Well, I was like maybe 6'1.5", maybe 6'2" at my tallest. But I'm still 6 foot. So I ain't shrunk that much. I haven't shrunk that much. Because every time I go in there, I'll stand up straight and see. Remember when I tried out with the Jets and they measured me, I had on them track shoes, and the NFL let you keep your shoes on. Basketball don't. When you try out for basketball, they want you barefooted, but not football. Football let you keep your shoes on. So I was 6'2", 175. Shit, I was nice size. I know Mike Tyson ass ain't fighting again. That would be just too silly. That would be too silly. Not just, I don't know. Like, why would he want to fight? Oprah sit down. Las Vegas spear. How Harris campaign spent $1 million. I don't think nobody really cares. Anybody watch the fights? My wife went out and watched. I think it was the flyweight championship yesterday. I didn't go. I do the Saturday Night Live thing. So, plus, I don't. And like her brother has 2 dogs, and I'm allergic to dogs. So, in the summer ain't so bad. I can sit outside. Now, I heard. Okay, it says right here. Here we go. I was talking about this earlier. It says Assad is killed in a plane crash as Syria air flight disappears from radar. But I heard also that he landed in Russia over the fate of reports that a plane he was allegedly on may have crashed or been shot down during apparent escape. Open source data online was tracking it, took off around the time rebels claimed control. The aircraft was initially headed towards the coast. However, it was abruptly reversed course and flew the opposite direction for several minutes before vanishing. Why would he wait till the day? That's the only thing. Why would he wait till the day? So maybe this was his flight path. Yeah, so they I don't think they got him. I don't think I read earlier he made it to Russia. Surrounding disappearance made it clear this other change of path and subsequent loss of signal sparked speculation the plane may have been shot down or suffered mechanical failure. So they don't know. They're kind of up in the air with this shit right now. Because I read another report, him and his wife made it to Russia, that he got away. So they say they didn't, but I read a report that they did. So, but if that's the worst in the world, that ain't very bad. Who is this? Oh, vintage sneakers that never went out of style. Yeah, this was my first the Dr. J's. This was my first kind of leather shoe that I played in. I played in these. Everybody else was buying Nikes. I bought the Dr. J's. Let's see. What other picture? I've never owned a pair of Cortezes. I've had plenty of Chucks. Chucks is what gave me shin splints. Because when I was junior high, we bought our own shoes. And then I go in 10th grade, they gave us 2 pair of these sorry ass shoes. Destroyed my shins. Oh, Vans. Yeah, Vans. Vans first came up on what is it? With Sean Penn. How's it going? Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's what made Vans popular. Sean Penn was wearing these in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which came out in 79 or 80. These are the Stan Smiths. What's the Sambas? I don't know what these are called, but they're Reeboks. Don't know what the Reeboks they are. Air Force Ones. And I was, Turtle Gang and I were debating, but what he has to understand is, like, y'all remember, so Air Force Ones was what Moses Malone wore. What Moses Malone wore, Gervin wore, trying to think of all those older players, but Moses was the first one to wear Air Force Ones. Now, people forget when Michael Jordan came in the league, he wore the airships. He didn't wear Air Force One. He wore the airships. And then he wore the first Air Jordan 1. But before then, he wore the airships. He did not wear Air Force Ones. He wore the airships. And my point is by the time we get the Air Jordan 2, 3s, and 4s, Air Force One was Nike's cheapest shoe. They was Nike's cheapest shoe. And it wasn't until that song came out, Stomping in My Air Force Ones, where they really became more popular. And that was a campaign too. That was an ad campaign. Because up to that point, niggas wasn't wearing Air Force Ones like that. Dudes was wearing the shell toes. You know, dudes was wearing the shell toes. Again, the Reeboks was just as popular as the Jordan when Iverson was wearing them. But it's like Air Force Ones, like you went in there when the Air Jordans was coming, you could buy the airships, which cost more than the Air Force Ones, and then you could buy the Air Force Ones was the lowest. But the airships cost more than the Air Force Ones. And then you know, by the time you get to David Robertson's, you know, when the David Robertsons came out, nobody was thinking about Air Force Ones. So I seen a clip of Tyson recently, and it looked like some of his old fights were rigged. He was missing or barely gazing dudes. Yeah, I don't want to believe. Yeah, definitely Don Juan. So did Don Juan, did I say what's happening?
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
I've showed several instances of Mike Tyson, but yeah, that one he's fighting, that's the Tupac fight. Like when Tupac went to see him, he fought a Sheldon. He ain't hit Sheldon. He ain't hit Sheldon at all. And there's a couple fights where when the people went into watch his early fights close. Watch his early fights close. And you can see the best one is the dude who jumps in the ropes and then lands on his face, because as I've showed and I've talked about many times, the dude does it before the dude hits him in the ropes. The dude does the move on the other side. Him and Tyson switch sides, and the dude takes that big step back, and then they switch, and Tyson swings, and that dude flies back in the ropes and then bounces on his face, because that's entertainment. And you know the other thing they say about Tyson. They say that Tyson could be a Brittany Griner. Not a very big neck, small head. Y'all heard his voice, but that's what a lot of people say about Tyson, that Tyson might be one of them imposters. So, just seen the lows cost 110. Oh, now I'll say this. This is one thing about Air Force Ones. You will not see them go on sale. They rarely go on sale. They stay 110. They stay 110. So they never go on sale. Even at the outlets. They got them at the outlets. They never discount them. It'd be 30, 40% off everywhere else, but not them. They gonna get their 100 out of them. What was the other? Let me see. There's got to be some other shoes in this. What was the other shoes? New Balance. I got a pair. No, mine ain't quite like those. Yeah, I didn't really like. I got a pair very sort of like these. I think they're newer pair like these. Shell toes. Quite popular. And the Jabbar shoe was the All-American. The Jabbar shoe was very close to the shell toe. Oh, these was the workout shoes. Physical. These Gazelles. You know what those are. Asics. And these are Air Jordans. Highs. Oh, the Puma Clydes. I used to have a pair of the Puma Clydes. I'll tell you, this Puma blue is one of the prettiest blues that's made. This Puma blue. But yeah, I had Clydes. I never hooped in them because they was low cuts, but I had a pair of these. Everybody where I was from had a pair of these when I was in junior high. Air Max 1. What are these? I don't know what the fuck. Oh, Etinis? I don't know what the fuck those are. These is babes. Le Coq Sportif. Le Coq Sportif. Ah, the Reebok pumps. Can you imagine in 1987 or 88, these was $200. These were $200 back then when, you know, the Air Jordan 1s was only about 140, 130, 140. These were $200. So a lot of children didn't have them. The Vans, the beach shoes. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, my last two pairs I bought have been New Balance, Ballin' Kicks and Chill Kicks. Well, you know, I show shoes all the time. Like right now, I don't know if I'm gonna get those. What is the 11s coming out? What is that coming out? I don't know if I'm gonna get those. They're not very well made. The 11s, I think it is coming out. They are not very well made. So I don't know if there's another pair of boots I got my eye on. I'm thinking, if anything, I'll get like the Jordans. I don't have the black and white colorway, or I'll get the new LeBrons, because the LeBrons colorway, the new ones they released, don't look as bad. Let's see, I should have it here. Oh, here we go. They just released the new colorway of LeBrons. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, yeah, here it is. Here it is. Whoops. And they got plenty of these, but these is 180. And I'll tell you, these are a very comfortable shoe. Now, they went back to their old technology. His old technology went back, but this looks better than this shit. These are two ugly shoes, but this looks a little better. The quality is excellent. So I don't know. I can wait and the motherfuckers will go on sale. But he released some kids ones, some children ones that that aren't bad. And really Sabrina's aren't bad either. They're just like Jaws shoes is like Zions. Like these Jaws, they're like Zions. They're really flat. These are really flat. These and Booker's, I think, are the same shoe. Sabrina's and Booker's, their shoes are pretty close to the same shoe. Ja, I don't really care for his shoe. I think that's one of Ja's shoes. Yeah, this colorway of Ja's. These are comfortable. These are the same comfort as the Booker's. These are pretty comfortable. I've tried these on. And these are beyond comfortable. These are beyond comfortable. Now, I know a lot of people might not like that build up in the back, but damn if I don't. For both men and women, these are some comfortable ass shoes. Booker's are surprisingly comfortable. You know, these are surprisingly comfortable. You're right. Like 368 ones look pretty fire. So these are pretty comfortable. Let's see, because I could have bought a pair of these. They ain't even got the colorway anymore. I've seen these at the outlet. Oh, they ain't got the snakeskin ones. I like this. I like that. They got plenty of them. But the one where this was the whole design, I saw those at the outlet for $100. That reminds me, I need to get a new pair of boxing gloves. Oh. I tell you who used to have the MMA stuff was Walmart. They used to have good MMA stuff. Oh. They had a bunch of MMA stuff for training and shit if you like to train. Dame's shoes are very comfortable. Joey, what's happening?
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
Yeah, the Adidas are comfortable with inserts. The Adidas are comfortable with inserts. Like the Adidas and Trey's, Trey's shoe, Adidas. Yeah. And I don't think Ant shoes are very comfortable. What I gotta do? Oh, I didn't want to come out of it. Oh, here we go. Go back into it. What other ones are comfortable? These are super comfortable too. Pricey. Now you can get a little bit off on them, but these are comfortable too. Again, a lot of people don't like this big build up, but these are super comfortable. These are average comfortable. Average, I'll say. Yeah, see, I think I'm gonna get these. Because this, I have these. And these are sweet. They are so comfortable. I got so much baby blue stuff I wear with these. Well, now, it's been cold, so I wear my boots. But I think they still got a bunch of sizes left. 13, 14. So, yeah, I can wear either 13s or 14s. So, I don't know. It's a toss-up between LeBron's or getting another pair of these when I do buy another pair of tennis shoes. So, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. My feet are so bad that shoes mean so much. I kind of pretty much got to wear a pair of new shoes every day. That's why I rotate my shoes quite often. Now, the Kobe's, I put these almost with the Zions. It's very flat. Same with these Lukas. I mean, they're built a little bit, but not very comfortable. I don't find these Kobe's comfortable at all. These Sabrinas, I think these are, now are these Giannis? These Giannis 6? Yeah, now these are comfortable. These are closer to Booker, and these are like a good price. Like right now, you can get these. I don't really like this colorway. I like baby blue, but I don't really like that orange. But I mean, I think these are $83. You can get like the 4s cost more than these, but these is like $83. Gotcha. I'll look at them up. The most comfortable basketball kickers I ever wore is a KD 15s. Okay. I'll be going through intensive mental and physical training and enhancing my body, mind mastery. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, these Giannis is a excellent shoe to wear. Excellent shoe to wear. That's not costly. And these, see, only 85. These aren't bad either. The amps, these are amps. They're not bad at all either. And these are the Paige. Paige has her own shoe. Oh, this is in the sneakers app. Okay. But Paige Buckers, Paige that plays the UConn, she's from here. I have a pair of high tops of these, super comfortable. Witnesses, if you these shoes, by the time you get these be about, what is that? 60? Where's my count? Oh, yeah, these would be about 70. Very comfortable shoes. What are these? What are these? Oh, Luca for the children. Okay. Luca for the children. KD 16s. And even these hyper dunks. I mean, hyper dunks aren't bad. These KD 15s ain't bad. He was just saying they're really comfortable. Not comfortable. Out of all of them, these are the least comfortable. These are so flat. Now, those of you that you like flat shoes, Zion has flat shoes. But these are average comfortable. I mean, even if you had to go, now this is what I don't understand why these are still so much. I have the high tops. I never bought the low tops. I have the high tops of these. It's super comfortable. I got married in the white colorway. I thought these were flat. The jaws were flat. Now this, we talking about pickleball. I have this colorway, and this is what I play pickleball in these. These are excellent pickleball shoe. I like all this in the back. As a matter of fact, I might buy another pair of these, just a different colorway, because they were so comfortable to play pickleball in. Very comfortable. So are these. These GTs are, but these really, the cuts, super comfortable shoes. I even go further. I don't need my inserts in these shoes, and then my feet don't hurt because I have to walk around most of the time. But when I play pickleball, I don't wear my inserts in these. They are that comfortable. Ghana's 5s are comfortable for the money. Is this a 4? No, these are 5s too. Those are 5s. This is another shoe that's comfortable. These are GT cuts, I think these are called. Precision 7 Easy Ons. Zion, again, I'm not a fan of his shoes. Where are the 4s? All LeBrons are comfortable. All LeBrons are comfortable. But yeah, these are comfortable too. I think these are more of the GT cuts. Little kids. Women's. So. And I've got these. These are super. And you see the members products. So these are still kind of scarce. They still, yeah, because mine in these like barely worn. So, but the material in these and the detail is outstanding. Outstanding. Actually, I tried these on and they're not that bad. These are Old Witness. I mean, again, look at the price. You know, these are a decent shoe, very comfortable. These are comfortable too. I play pickleball in these. Which colorway? I got the black colorway. Oh, and these are super comfortable. I'm looking at a pair of these. They don't have my colorway on here. I got an all white colorway, and you can see they sold mostly out of these. But yeah, I have a pair, and these are super comfortable. If I was hooping, I would definitely put these in the rotation of me hooping. So, so you can't believe he almost got a 800 million. Yeah. We knew it was coming. Oh, so my pickups this week was I got this hat. for $15. Kango had a Black Friday sale, $15, and I think these are normally like 70. They're at least 65, but they had them on sale for $15. I should have bought a bunch more, but I already got a bunch of hats. So I got this Kango. This is a Kango. You know, I like my powder blue. And I bought another Steve Land hat. They give you the box, which is outstanding. Whoops. And so I love this color. So this is I got this one for 51. I think normally it's 110, and for Black Friday I got it for 51. Now this is a smaller brim than my other ones. This brim is a little smaller. So, but I love the color, like almost a scotch kind of color. So I love the color, and I love the Steve Land hats. Yeah. See the feather and the button. So that's the local pickups. I guess I could have showed my yeah, I don't think I showed their shoes. Or did I? I don't think I showed my daughter's shoes. My daughter's shoes is downstairs. Because my wife got some sweet Verermos. Yeah, I don't think I showed their shoes. I didn't think about bringing them up here. My wife's shoes are real sweet. Oh, but I love 504s. You know, because you get that inside when you get to real Kangos. They say 504 inside. Ah, there we go. If that's anything useful when you know how to use it. The best martial art is no martial art. Wisdom is simple. Yeah, it is. How long I've been going? Okay, what is it? Monday morning. I do got a few things to do tomorrow, but I'm gonna hang for a minute. I'm gonna hang out for a minute. Oh, did Duke end up winning? Did Duke win? Louisville? Is that who they beat tonight? Earlier? Duke beat Louisville. What did he do? How many did he end up with? 20 points and 12 rebounds. Okay. Huh. 20. I mean, they got these. Let's see. They do have these. Ooh, they got my size too. See, this is the black colorway of the Jordans. They do have my size. So Dick Sports still got them. And I think I got a coupon. I could get these. I get 25% off of that price. Okay. Okay, Kay. And we're almost done with most of our Christmas shopping. We had bought my mother a purse back in the summertime. We got my daughter, like one of her gifts is, if you can see that white paper right there, that's her Ralph Lauren sweater that she liked and she wanted. And then we got her the 90s, 60s. So, but my wife's Veremos, I kind of hate I didn't bring them up here because they're kind of sweet. My wife's Veremos are sweet. For some reason, they signed me out of YouTube. Gotta find a back way in. They kicked me out for some reason on my computer. So for me to get in, I'm gonna have to mess with it. Oh. That's not it. They're saying that's not it. Okay, I ain't gonna fight with it. I'll do it after I get off. Now, I think school up here gets out on the 20th, and they don't go back. I don't know if they go back on the 3rd, because I know my best friend, he said his daughter goes back on the 7th. So my daughter says they go back, so they go back that Friday, I guess. So if she go back, so is my nephew. And then my nephew starts wrestling this week, and I think he has his first match Friday. So I'm gonna go watch him wrestle and support. And I'm his ride home too. But I love that kind of thing, to be there for him, because that means a lot. To go see children do their thing, that means a lot to the children. It's funny how like you would play with cats and cats would always be looking in the stands, and if their parents never came, you could just kind of see. And my parents was at every game. Like I've already said, hats off to my stepfather. My stepfather went to every game I played from the time I made the 8th grade team in 7th grade until I played my very last tournament game in high school. He never missed a game. Never missed a game. He'd take off work. He's an engineer, so he'd do his own thing, but he would take off work and be at the game and never miss one of my games. And so, and like people appreciated seeing my parents there. They at least knew somebody they knew that was there, that knew them, because it wasn't like that for a lot of players. My parents traveled every game. My parents went, wintertime didn't matter. We had games, and I had a game and they were there, so so that's why I have no problem. Like when I would take my daughter to Baton, I can think of the many winter nights, practice is more than the games, you practice every night. When you play football, you play basketball, you practice every night. So think of all the times, if you have children, they play sports, you got to go pick their asses up, take them to their games, pay whatever fee but it's like a lot of parent participation. And then, most parents should see how your child is doing. Oh, did y'all see the chick dunked? I wonder if they're going to show her dunk. See if they show her dunk. Doesn't look like it. Let's see if they show her dunk. I'll show you if they show her dunk. I don't think so. She didn't like dunk. She just barely dunked. Oh, they ain't showing it though. They ain't gonna talk about it, but it's out there. If y'all want to see the chick dunk, it's out there. And you know it's a matter of time before not just tall girls that, you know, regular sized girls can dunk too. So, but yeah, parent participation means a lot. You know, movies show that kind of thing. You know, child looking up, supposed to be hooping. He's looking. Are they here? Are they here? I was the kind of person where I just blanked all that. I didn't give a fuck who was there. I came to tear and destroy. And that was the difference between me and my children. Like when I went on the court, I never thought anybody was better than me. I really didn't. Didn't matter how old I was. Didn't matter. I never thought anybody was older than me. And I knew that I couldn't be stopped. I knew it. And my children didn't seem to have that killer. You know, they just didn't seem to have that. You know, and that's, you know, and that goes into, you got to have something inside of you that makes you want to work hard for stuff. Now, basketball is more individualized. Like you can't, basketball is more individualized, is like working on your game. You can really do a lot by yourself and get a lot of work in by yourself, but nothing beats you having to play. I mean, you got to play to be good. You got to play. I mean, you got to play all the time. When I talk about me playing semi-pro till I was damn near 50, I mean, I played all the time still. I mean, if my games were like, normally I played in the morning league and then I played in the evening league, them other 3 days I'm playing, and maybe Saturday and Sunday. Well, I had one league where we played on Sundays. But if I wasn't in a tournament that Saturday, I was in a gym somewhere playing with young people, just playing. Staying in shape, staying on top of my game. And, you know, just because I didn't play in the NBA, you know, I still played. I still tried to keep, you know, my game on top. You know, there's nothing that can help that but playing. You know, football and other sports, you got to lift to make your body strong. Wrestling, you got to put a lot of running in. You know, you got to run a lot in wrestling. That's what I told my nephew. I wasn't trying to stop him from playing, but I was like, hey, you know, you got to run. Now, let me show you this, like this right here. This is, okay, this is all fake. And I'm not saying that the dude didn't get popped, but what I'm saying is these pictures, the dude wanted his picture. Because again, we can look, this could be a mask. And we know the masks are so, you know, Mission Impossible mask, you know? So why do you think he didn't give a fuck about his face showing? You understand? He's got one where the mask is pulled down. Why do you think that is? What dude to just off somebody in the middle of New York, everybody in the world looking for him, and yet you got pictures of him showing his eyes, picture of him with the mask down. It's like he didn't care. You know, he didn't care. And again, anything that gets you on not talking about yourself, not thinking about yourself, thinking about the beast, that's all that is. Family blames Elon Musk's son for death while driving a Tesla in Autosport. Wow. Family man who died in a horrific crash with his Tesla was in autopilot mode is suing the electric car maker over claims the company's self-driving technology has not been perfected and ready for the road. Was crushed to death behind the wheel of a Model S he bought under the apparently mistaken belief that it could drive itself, according to the lawsuit. You know, like, you know the cars that got their self-driving. First part argues that cars' reasonably safe design is measured by the appropriate test under the applicable laws, and the accident may have been caused whole or part by his own negligent act or omission, or mentioned warnings, or could have prevented alleged incidents. Has blasted Tesla for overstating claims about his car's self-driving ability. But you got GM and Ford cars to drive by themselves, so what's the difference? What is the difference? Oh, yeah. What is the difference? U.S. government who represented Mendoza told this is yet another example of Tesla using public roadways to perform research and development on its autonomous driving technology. The injuries suffered by the first autonomous responders and death of Mr. was entirely preventable. What's worse is that Tesla knows that many of its earlier vehicles continue to drive on our roadways with this same defect. So he crashed one of these. I guess he thought it could self-drive, but what would make it accelerate? You know, was he not paying attention? You still got to look. Like most of them, you got to look. And the minute you look away, they're supposed to go out of driving like that. The moment you look away, they're supposed to go out of driving like that. So. How much money does Scott Boras make? Thanks. That must be his Soto's agent. You know, you make a bunch of bread and, you know, the agent got 15 to 20%. Was it 10 to 15%? So, you know, you paying them for the negotiations. So the bread sounds good, but that's bread before taxes. That ain't bread after taxes. Shoot, now they be finding you, you know, you look in there, you get, you know, NFL players be looking and shit might be 10,000 out of their check. They done got hit, you know, they done got fined, which is a scam, you know, to take your bread away is a scam. They shouldn't have power to, like most people, you do something at work, they can't take your bread. They make us suspend you for a couple days, but they can't take your bread like that. If you worked, NFL got it where they can take your bread while you did work. Make that make sense. They can take your bread while you did do the work. They can take your bread. See, that's not a good deal. They shouldn't be able to take your bread like that. Well, where would the discipline come from? Well, there's other ways to discipline a person. Don't let him play. Don't let him start. But taking their bread is that's I think that is wrong. And I ain't gonna say shit about Jay-Z. It's another distraction. I mean, these people are always together. You guys know what it is. Sex magic been out there. I mean, look at like what a person like what Marilyn Monroe went through. You know, mob bosses wanted to fuck her, and you know, and these sick people, studio gross little men. Just think if she, you know, they said she had something like 7 abortions, and then when she finally met a man and wanted to have children, you know. Vanetta, thank you for joining.
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
Oh, did she go away? Thought I saw her on here. Oh, thank you for joining. No, I think I saw you. My Yukon squad bounced back. Creighton, we got a boy here from Creighton that played. I watched the other night. I think if you go back to my video 23 when my nephew played in state, the team that won the state championship, the big boy, he ended up going to Creighton. He's playing at Creighton. I watched him play the other night. And then we number 5 for Michigan State is from Durham Halls, Creighton Durham Hall. So number 5 for Michigan State. I was watching the game with my nephew. He's like, oh, you know him. You watched him play. I'm like, where did he play at? And he told me where he played. I was like, oh, okay. I guess I remember him now. So this state is putting the boys in the leagues. I'm telling you, this state is really putting the boys in the leagues. And I think we're overlooked. You know, I'm going to try to make some Hopkins games because they got 2 guards that can go. So it's always boys here that can go. I was watching a 9th grader put in work on varsity the other night. He was putting in some real work. I forget. I think did he go to Hopkins? No, he went to some other school, but he was putting in work. And he was like probably 6'7", but he was a freshman. Putting that work in. So this is a great basketball state. So hopefully I'll be able to get to see some games. My nephew's high school team that after he graduated, that team won state last year. So, and when he played, they won their sectional and went into state. They lost in the semifinals. Blue Marvel, black celebrities are distractions used to keep us from seeing all the real picture. I mean, yeah. Did you know Jackson, Mississippi is on the oldest volcano in the United States? You know, Netta, I think I did catch that. Yeah, I think I did catch that. For a minute, what's going on with the CEO from Minnetonka unalive? Oh, that dude was. Oh, really? That dude who got killed in New York was from Minnetonka? I didn't know that. I was just talking about that. I'm pretty sure that's what you talking. I didn't know he was from Minnetonka. But like the cat that got offed, that's what you talking about? You talking about the health guy that got offed? Because I was reading the thing, he had security. I mean, straight up, he had let me take it back. He had a budget for security and he didn't use it. Yeah, I didn't know that dude was from Minnetonka. Okay, because that's my brother-in-law lives in Shorewood. He lives in Shorewood. Like one corner is Shorewood, Minnetonka. I'm trying to think. It's like 3 different little towns, like right where he lives, because his is Shorewood, and then around the corner is Minnetonka, and I'm trying to think what's the third one out there. But it's like all of them is like out there together. But I didn't know he was from out there. Okay, I did not know that. But yeah, he had in his budget where he could carry security with him. So that's people forget. People don't realize how important they are. So that's what people forget about. Oh, it's funny. It's listening. Now I see a thing from Sean Pitt and Wiley, Fast Times at Ridgemont High is on Netflix. That's one of my favorite movies. They're funny. That is one of my favorite movies. Hey, bud, because it's got Phoebe Cates in it. Phoebe Cates was bad when she was younger. And it's kind of some child porn. Well, she was out of high school by then, but yeah, it's kind of, they show her boobs in the original one, and she's supposed to be a high school senior, but they show her boobs. So a little bit of child porn in there. I think the versions now that you don't, but in the original version, Phoebe Cates shows her boobs, and she's supposed to be in high school. So, this might be interesting. Oh, I thought they was going to show the real people. No, it don't look like they showing the real people. Let's see. Mark Clark. No, they're not showing the real people. I thought maybe they would. I was just looking at Judas and the Black Messiah, the Fred Hampton movie, and where the dude he paid the bodyguard and was a snitch. The dude that got caught stealing a car, so he said, "Well, I'll work for you," and he's the one that slipped the drugs to make sure that Fred Hampton was asleep. He put some in his drink and knocked him out. And so that's what's interesting. It's like the snitches always be the loudest one, the most biggest rebel. And if you read the book about the assassination of Fred Hampton, it talks about that. Fake aliens and drones. Now, I mean, yeah, the alien thing is fake. It's stuff that's here. It's all fake. It's here already. And it's the government. I mean, it's nothing more than the government. That's what it is. It is the government. And so to think it's anything else is naive. It's the government. Government has always been doing it. The government's still going to do it. Flying saucers. I mean, again, you got to think that their technology is thousands of years older than our technology. They're probably 100 years. I take it back. Their technology is probably 100 years ahead of our technology. Oh, okay. That's what I was looking for. And so there's a lot they can do with that. I mean, if you think of what would be possible in 100 years compared to what's possible now, and then somebody's able to tap into that technology that we at this point, we couldn't even comprehend. I mean, if you really looked at a person from the 1920s and tried to explain to him a cell phone, they couldn't comprehend it, you know. And so, love the baby blue cat. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've got a bunch of babies, especially warm up. Nike, they came out with 2 different type of baby blues, so I got the warm up fits for both of them. But yeah, I got these 504s. I must have, like, I got 504s I've had for 10 years. Some of my hats I've had easily 10 years. Like all my summer hats, I don't know what my daughter's mother did with them. I had 6 or 7 summer Kangos, and we broke up. I don't know, something happened to them. But I have all my wool ones. So I have 2 browns, black, 2 browns, black, gray, and this one. So I got about 5, I think. So seen a couple different trophy tippy videos where people are aiming lasers at the sky and a bunch of lights come out of nowhere. Yeah, I still think that's all government stuff. That's what I think it is. Like even our internet, there's as fast as our internet is, and my computer's really fast, but they're at a different level now. Like even these Apple Watches, they waited to release these once the military had them. The military had them first. The internet was built for the military. Just like microwave. I explained that before. I'd work with some cats and how they work. They was around the big satellite dish or big satellites, and they was sticking turkeys. They was seeing how the birds would fly and it would cook the birds, so they started just sticking turkeys up, and it would cook a turkey in about 20 minutes on a stick, the big military satellite. So that's how they learned about microwaves, that microwaves could cook. It was accidental, found out. So yeah, I do a little bit. I got a little bit of money in Bitcoin, mostly gold, but a little bit of money in Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin dropped to 98,000. I showed that. Let's see. Can I go back to it? It's not on this page. Let's see if I can find it. It's over on this side. Oh, where was my stocks? I got it more on my phone. Where is it? Is that it? No, I guess not. I showed that earlier, but it traded, because trading really doesn't stop during the weekend. China opens up, and then London opens up. Like right now, China and London are already open. They're already trading. So trading really don't stop. But that 100,000 of Bitcoin, it was 101,000 has dropped down to 98,000. So made a little money. I like gold better. But right now, you can buy shit with Bitcoin, pay people with Bitcoin. It's restaurants that take Bitcoin for payment now. So get your own wallet, secure your wallet, no matter how, because Cash App make it easy to invest in Bitcoin, but create a separate wallet. If you do that through Cash App, create a separate wallet from Cash App. Don't trust that Cash App for your bread like that. For that, I mean, just to trade cash around, it's the same thing. It is pretty much the same thing. It's funny, the things, that I like, I've always liked. If you looked at me, my 20-year-old self, the kind of stuff I like, I always liked. I always like clothes. I like casual clothes. I must say I like casual clothes. But hell, when I play college football, like especially we go somewhere like New York where we're gonna be there 3 days, I bring a couple different suits. I had 3 suits. So every day I'm wearing a different suit. Them lames I went to school, we would bring one suit and wear it all weekend. They wear it Friday, then they wear it Saturday to the game. I'm like, nah, I can't roll like that. What you see me in Friday night for dinner and the movies, I'm not gonna have that suit on Saturday. I'd take a couple suits with me. That's just how I used to roll when they was forced to buy suits. I said suits is Mason dress. Nothing wrong with having a good suit. They sometimes call for it, and it's just to look like everybody else. You just you wear them, but I don't. I'm glad I ain't got to wear them motherfuckers every day. So to each his own. To each of his own. How to get good prices on gold bars. You start talking about something. Is it cold in Minnesota? Not bad. It's gonna be cold. It was 50. It was 50. Damn, where the weather at? Oh, okay. Let's see, where is weather? Oh, here we go. It's mild now, but it was 50 today. It was in the 50s today. It was damn near 50 yesterday and 50 today. And you see now it's 32, but it's going to be 40 today. But then it's going to dip into 25. And then as you see, it's going to be a high of 14. So I'm bringing the fur coat out. Wednesday, Thursday, I'm going to have a fur coat on both them days. I'm wearing my furs on them days or my storm coat. Then, really cold, but -4 is a motherfucker. That shit, man, that shit it's funny. It gets cold to your bones sometime. But then as we get into the weekend, look at this. Mild, no snow. Like Michigan, I was going to go to Michigan last week and I didn't end up going because of the weather. 30, 37, 31. So mild, mild going into a week before Christmas. So mild weather. I mean, we're going to have a couple days. These 2 days is going to be rough. Wednesday, Thursday. But I ain't really got to do nothing. I think Thursday I do. I go with my nephew, but I throw on the shit and hit the gym. So it's not bad. It's not bad. So it's practicing being dusty, wearing suit all weekend. Yeah, that's how they used to do it, man. Because we would get there Friday, most places, like depending on where we going. Like we went to New York. I think we got there Thursday. We were there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I think the same when we went to Mississippi. We might have been there Thursday, Friday, or we might have left Thursday and got there early Friday. And so everywhere we traveled, we had to wear suits, except on the bus. We could wear what the fuck we wanted. But when we went out, the motherfuckers want us to wear a suit. And I told the famous story of I had bought a suit in high school that was corduroy. And it was a corduroy three-piece and bell bottoms. And yeah, I wore it to a game. My dad had it for a number of years and sent it to me. And I was like, let me wear it. And they teased me. They teased me like a motherfucker. They teased me for wearing that corduroy 3-point suit. That was bell bottoms. And then even the coach came over and said, new suit. And my partners just cracked up when the coach came over to me and he noticed. So yeah. But for a time there, all my shit was like, the suits I bought at Jewtown. My dad bought me 2 suits from Jewtown, and that's where they sold that shit on you back then. He took me to Jewtown in Chicago and went in there and stood there, and the dudes, they pin you up and shit, and they literally make them suits to fit you. So I had 2 suits like that, custom made 2 suits, and then Jewtown used to have where the alleys had the shoes. So you walking down the street and then you see an alley, and this alley will have all the Florsheim's, So I had a couple of pair of Florshams. I loved wingtips. You know, down there, them niggas called them insurance man shoes, but they wingtips that's still in style to this day. I had 2 pair of wingtips. Both of them had leather bottoms. I mean, this is back in the 70s, 78, 79, 79, 80. I think I bought those shoes in 78. I bought 2 pair. They both had wooden bottoms. The Florsham especially. The Florsham wingtips, even today, them cost. So, but they had wooden bottom. Leather bottom. And that shit was nice. Them niggas was just country, didn't know what was nice. They wasn't even wearing Florshams, you know? They wasn't even wearing Florshams and shit. Talk about my shit. Them niggas wasn't even wearing Florshams. But you know, it's funny and sad getting older, having teammates that passed in high school, having teammates that passed in college. I only got one coach that's still alive. Assistants, a few assistants, but like my college coach passed. I think my high school football coach, who I can't stand, I think he's still around. But a lot of people have passed. And that's the thing about getting old, you know. You see generations disappear, and that's life. You know, that's whatever this is, till you get to go back into the real. And you know, like I really think that we underestimate what the ether is and the astro. I think we underestimated it. That I'm kind of under the belief that that's real, that all this is kind of illusionary. But when you're able to get into the astro and start seeing the purples, the golds, the reds, the blues, I think that's real. I think all that is real. And, you know, again, it looks nothing like this. There's none of this. You still see fractals. You still see shapes. Matter of fact, you still see fractals that look like houses and shit. I mean, you still see structures. But it seems like that's more real than this everyday thing. There's a lot of this that just doesn't seem quite real, you know, if you dig. It's kind of giveaways all the time of the fakeness of it all. Like you ever look in the mirror and it's like your reflection ain't made it there yet, and yet it should be there. You ever look in the mirror and the reflection don't be there automatically, and it takes a few seconds for the reflection to materialize? How does that happen? How do you get there and the mirror, your reflection ain't in the mirror yet? You walk in the bathroom and your reflection ain't there, but you standing there like you a vampire and there's no reflection. And then a second later, the reflection pops up. Now, if this was real, that would never happen. That would really never happen. So it's I don't know. It's things like that seem to always, I always catch mistakes. And that's the other part, is like the mistakes, the reality mistakes that you just always catch that makes no sense. And then, you know, my practicing with time and time control. I mean, how is that possible? Like really, how is it possible for me to have any kind of time control? How is that even possible? Now, I can't do it all the time, but it seems like when I need it, I'm able to do it. Now, I've said many times, you know, I should have been in a bunch of crashes. You know, I've had visions where I saw, you know, myself in a crash. I was driving in a winter storm and I had a vision of myself in the crash. But I had an excuse to get off the highway because I had a vision. I saw it all. Me being in the crash, it turned the car sideways and I was looking at the traffic come by me. And then I had to go to the bathroom really bad. So I got off the highway and I ended up going to McDonald's. And then when I came back, there was a Cadillac Escalade that was driving pretty reckless. He was passing everybody. And this is a storm. It's daytime, but it's still a storm. And he's passing by. So we go off the highway because I think I was taking my ex back home or something. And got back on the highway. And guess whose car we saw in a crash? Exactly like my vision that I had probably 10 minutes before. I see this car in the very position where I saw myself. This car had hit another car. So how does that happen? Man, there's too many things to, you know, that can't be explained away on, you know, looking at what is real and what is not real. Oh. Oh, and I did get these motherfuckers. And these, I'm telling you, these look like they too easy to lose. Did get these. I lost my other pair when I took my son to the hospital to get his arm looked at. I must have, I was listening to him and I must have taken them out and put them on the table and then put them back in my bag. So they weren't in my bag, so I must have lost them. So those was 110 maybe. It wasn't expensive, very expensive, but they show good sounds. Oh my goodness. And when you like you can listen to rain sounds or snow sounds or space sounds. They got a space sound. It really sounds like you ride in a car. That's what it sounds like to me, like you ride in a car. You know, but it's relaxing in a motherfucker. It's definitely relaxing. And so I'll get into that. Sit back and I like, as I told before, I'm building up where I'm, getting back into playing records because that's one of the purest sounds. And I'll repeat every day. I mean, you definitely want to listen to some type of instrumental music every day. You ain't got to listen to but a couple sounds, but it definitely raises your vibration. Or love songs does the same thing. Love song does the same thing. It'll raise your vibration. And that's usually like I play music when I take a shower. The whole time I'm in the bathroom shaving and everything, I got music playing. Blasting, matter of fact. It ain't just playing, it's blasting. I got one of the big JBL things and it blast. And so I had that in the bathroom blasting while I'm getting ready because it's, trying to, I've said before, when you leave home, you want to raise your vibration high as possible. I mean, this is your part to be, where you have your unbreakable shield on, where you put it all together, where you become unbreakable when you leave the world. All that magic happens in your home. That's what you've got to do in your home. You got to do all that. That's what home is for, to build you up, to get you full of fuel. That's how your home should be. And it shouldn't, but I know some of y'all, especially when your spouse or whatever, or family member, they take all that energy away from you, so I understand that as well. But that's what your home is supposed to be. It's supposed to be your sacred space. And that's what I hope it is for you. And everybody needs their quiet time. Everybody should have somewhere where they can just have some me time. That's why, I'll play music. Like if my son's not here, my wife's not here, I'll turn on some music. And, whatever I'm doing around the house, I listen to records. So, and jazz is, great for raising your vibration. It's really great. And there's a lot of variations of jazz. They got the watercolors jazz. They got the old-fashioned jazz, the old bebop jazz. I love some Coltrane, that kind of thing. But, I grew up in the Motown stuff, knew several entertainers. And see, that's, if you really look at why they destroyed Detroit, that's another thing that they want to destroy Detroit over, is they wanted to destroy Detroit over the music and the power that music brought. That's another thing that they didn't want repeated. That's so, it's like when they destroyed Detroit on the auto industry, another part was, to destroy these entrepreneurs too. They were able to, in their own way, be entrepreneurs because of the plants, what the plants gave you. And I've said many times over and over again about, World War II in Detroit, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Gary, Indiana. They're the ones that won the war for the European occupiers. They're the ones that won the war for them. So, and then to them, have Senate hearings and all that, and then not stop them from leaving unionized places too and going to non-unionized places. I mean, that should have been stopped. Like Trump said, you want to take the jobs out of America? Well, we're going to tax the fuck out of you, tariffs and the tax. Which to me is, that makes sense. Keep the jobs here. But, like you look at it, like all our junk, and I've said many times, all our junk comes from China now. You go into the dollar store, look at all that stuff. When historically, junk used to come from Japan, When 5 and dimes was first invented, which was the old, the concept of the dollar store used to be the 5 and dimes. And I think the time the Ben Franklins came out, everything was a quarter. When the Ben Franklins came out, because I think Woolworths ended up buying Ben Franklins. But I think Ben Franklin's was a quarter. But some stores was called, when I was a little boy, they was called 5 and dimes. Nothing cost over a dime. And it's the same junk you see now in the dollar store. Matter of fact, better junk. And in one period, all of it came from America. And then what you saw is all the junk came from Japan. Like you had little radios, little handheld radios walking around playing, music. All that stuff was from Japan. Because they were our enemy. They practiced communism. And so up until Richard Nixon opened the door for them, we didn't trade with them at all. And that was Nixon that did that. Where are we at? I lost him. Walking water, what's happening?
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
Oh, okay. Let me write that down. I'll look for that. I like Miles, but I don't know. I've been into Billy Harris, my trumpet player. Like I like Coltrane. I really love Coltrane. But lately I've been getting into Les McCain and Billy Harris, and Billy Harris is a horn player. So, but in my car, I pretty much just listen to jazz. Every now and then I'll switch to R&B in the car, but mostly it's just jazz. Get in the car, warm it up. And that's another thing. Warm your cars up. Wintertime, warm your car up. You really, every time you should drive your car, you should warm it up. But especially in the wintertime, make sure that oil gets, warm. That's really what you're trying to get while you warm your car up, because you're trying to get the engine oil, engine oil warm. Those who aren't ready for Mortal Kombat Revolution do not need to talk about reparations. Don't ask for any demand. Take it and take it. Take them. Yeah, I mean it's. I would say like they do want, like, to me. I've said this many times. It really looks like one thing they're trying to do is the man in the high castle. It really looks like that. I mean, there's trouble in the Middle East is the Bible stuff. The Bible predicted that the end of the world would come in the Middle East. So it seems like they're trying to make that happen. You dig? They've, the U.S. wanted to have Israel because they wanted to have a base in the Middle East. They have a base there in Israel. They got a base in Kuwait. So they seem like they want that doomsday stuff to be. But I said a man in a high castle because, again, if the Pacific Fleet gets defeated, what's going to stop the Chinese from coming into America? And one scenario I read said even if we did defeat China now, they would build back their military before we could build back ours, is one of the speculations. They would be able to build up quicker. The things that was destroyed in that conflict, they would be able to build back quicker than we could. So, and don't think, the same thing Truman talking about, the military industrial complex, it ain't went nowhere. It hasn't went anywhere. I mean, I think Nick Taylor talked about this. They just sent $700 million to Ukraine, last week? Just sent them 700 million more to Ukraine. So, but Forum Runner said it, them is loans to Ukraine. Now they did pass a bill to try to give some forgiveness to Ukraine, but a lot of that bread they gave them is loans to Ukraine too. So they're trying to forgive so much, but it's going to be a lot that Ukraine still owes us. And if Russia was to take over Ukraine, Russia would owe us that bread. They would assume the debt. That's the way countries work. They would assume the debt. That's thanks to Forum Runner. So I wouldn't be surprised they fake like they lost. just to have easier control over everybody. Be easier to, bring foreign troops in here because American troops will, rebel. And then people forget Biden was the only president that threatened American people. He said, y'all ain't got atomic bombs and jets. That was a direct threat to the American people. So, I don't know, y'all. And, being a lame duck president, he's trying to do a whole bunch before he go out. I mean, pardoning people, they always pardon people at the end of their presidency. That is kind of common. But all that is a distraction too. That's their own business. It got nothing to do with us. But again, it's to make you think of anything but yourself, you, anything about you, anything to keep your mind off, trying to be the best you. That's what all that's about. Instead of you working and thinking about being the best you working about thinking about what's going on in the world. I mean, like it was people so hurt on this election, which it was unbelievable. Like win or lose, I wasn't gonna be hurt. Didn't care that much about it. I talked a lot of shit on Facebook, but it's like win or lose, I didn't care. It's like what is it gonna really change? It's the same occupation. That's what their occupation's been closer to 300 years that the English has occupied these lands. Beat the Dutch out, beat the Spanish out. Well, paid the Spanish because most of the West was Mexico. But when American troops went into Mexico with General Lee and Grant and all them went into Mexico and conquered Mexico, it's like, okay, well, you got to give us all this. That's why the 49ers shit is bullshit. It was a lie. They was mad and crying. They also trying to turn this country into a real life Hunger Games. Well, yeah. Yeah. It's funny how the preppers, Nick Taylor said that one of his old channels was preppers. And before I moved here, I bet I had 20 pounds of beans. Just beans, and beans don't really go bad. It's like I've said before, I had hundreds of cans, but if you just like say for the next year you just ate out of cans, and not fresh cans, you can get sick off that shit. After Trump, I don't think there will be any more presidential. Seems like we're going into a different era of control. Well, if it's allowed, I guess if it's allowed. We are, if it's allowed. And it's like you'll see them fighting on TV, and then when they eat dinner, they're all eating dinner together. Like it was an act. It was just like, seeing the WWE. They mad at each other when they wrestle, but when then they sit down and drink and eat, they're friends. So it's all a big act. We need to remember who the real enemy is. Yeah. Yeah. And so, this country has been occupied by the English for 300 years. So that ain't changed. I mean, it's still a colonial occupation. That ain't never changed. Now, the real enemy is oneself. Well, in a lot of ways it is. It's your mind, how you look at things and how you handle situations. That's what it is. It's how you handle self and how you spiritually, work on yourself and how far you spiritually come. And do you live a life that's true to yourself? So that's the biggest thing. Is like how far are you spiritually? How far have you in your spiritual quest? And is your spiritual quest true? Is it true to you? Has it lifted you? Are you be able to, get your kundalini out? Do you see things or hear things that raise your kundalini, brings your kundalini out? I mean, do you meditate and the only thoughts that's coming in and out is your own thoughts? And that's the greatest thing about meditation is everything that you put into it is just you. I mean, I meditate in this room and it's like everything in this room has a purpose. I draw energy from everything in this room. Because I handpicked it and I thanked it for being here with me. And, when I make those trips, this stuff all protects me. So And my wife always says, no matter what, because I mean, this is the thing about spiritualness. It's like you can be in the lowest of the lows. I've talked many times about watching all my people get killed, and I'm still alive. And I mean, it's like it will, and it's like it will do that more than once. It won't just show you one scenario of everybody getting killed. It'll put you in different scenarios of just doom. And I think, that's the test or something you have to go through, because I think it tests you to see, well, how are you going to react to all this doom and gloom? Are you going to stay in that vein forever, or just say, okay, I've experienced this, and for some reason, I'm spiritually experiencing all this. And then when you look back and that ain't all real, you're like, oh, okay. But it kind of tried to prepare you for all these different possibilities. And so when they come, they don't hit you as hard because you kind of could feel it coming. So when it comes, it doesn't hit you as hard. So. And I don't, I'm not trying to come off disrespectful to anybody. I'm not trying to say I'm the victim. The history shows who the victims were. It's very obvious if you just study history. It's very obvious who the victims are. I mean, that's the other problem about, getting away with the DEI, because if the occupiers aren't forced to include people, they won't. They won't. If they're not forced to do business with you, they won't. And that's just how how they do business is. If they didn't have to do business with the melanated people, they don't want to do business with you. They just want you to spend your money. That's the way the occupation is. They don't really want you to be a business person. They want you to be a consumer. That's why they push so much consumerism. And most melanated people are consumers. We are the highest consumers in some instances. Well, they say, rich man to have altogether $100 outfit. A brother would have an outfit that's 3,000-4,000. And it's like, you have to look at, where are you putting your money into? You want to look and feel rich, but if you look at rich people, they don't really try to look rich. They don't really try to look rich. There's nothing wrong having nice things. I love jewelry. I love chains. I love rings. I love bracelets. I love watches. I had to switch back to the original watch. I got some new bands, and that shit was cutting I don't know. It had like a double strap. I don't know. Some reason it was cutting the circulation. And this little motherfucker, like, you talking about Dick Tracy, like the idea of a fucking phone that you could talk on, that came out in the 1920s with Dick Tracy cartoons. Like the papers used to come on Sunday, and some of y'all remember this, where it was just the papers that was black and white every day, because the funny pages every day was black and white, but on Sunday it was a whole section by itself of color. So they would make the color comics, and the children would get those. I used to have this what was this putty called? It was a type of putty where if you put it on one of the pictures, the Sunday color pictures, you would pull it up and it would show, the putty would have a picture in it. Do y'all remember that? It's a little putty in an egg-shaped little thing. And you flatten the putty out and put it on a picture. Then you pull the putty up, the picture would be on your putty. Silly putty, maybe? Maybe it was called silly putty. Silly putty. And so Sunday used to look forward to that as a child. You get that whole section of cartoons and read over the cartoons. It'd be the same daily cartoons, but it'd be a bigger section on Sundays. And it's like little things like that has just disappeared. It's like, okay, I understand how, yeah, it says Dr. Sinister says silly putty. Yeah, exactly, silly putty. But it's like, as the internet is great and give you an exposure, it's a difference than having, like, being in the paper. I mean, it's a totally different thing now, having that scrapbook compared to all your stuff being on this electronics. Actually having that scrapbook, they can last forever. These electronics can be erased anytime, but a scrapbook is something, if you take care of it, it's always there. Shit, my scrapbook is now, I mean, some of my articles is 40 plus years. You dig? 40 years ago. When I was in my prime. uh, I'm surprised I ain't running out of Florida State. Now that's one job I could see Dion taking. I could see Dion taking Florida State job. But I can't see him taking the Cowboys job. To me, he has more power where he's at. So So I hope you guys have a good week. This time is going extremely fast because again, it always speeds up after Thanksgiving, after Halloween. Time speeds up. They're very, very. The Beast has a lot of effort into us being distracted by the holidays. One, and then they need our energy to push in this new year as well. And so that's why the build up of Christmas and then New Year's Eve, the big push is us believing, us participating. And that's the other part about the beast is it wants us to participate. That's why I know I'm feeding the beast when I'm talking shit about politics on Facebook. I know I'm feeding the beast because that's what the beast wants. It wants the people to be divided. It doesn't want people to say and it's hard. That's the odd thing about politics. It's hard for people to separate politics from personalities and personal life. A lot of people, it's like you either, and that's what I say is more liberalism is if you don't believe with us, then everything you believe in is wrong and you're against me. That's how a lot of liberals look at it. If you don't think like them, they're against you. And that to me is totally narrow-minded and really unfair. Just because you don't agree, you want thinkers. I mean, they've come up with their identity for a reason, and their politics for a reason. Men are wearing more. Let's read this bullshit. Men are wearing makeup more than ever. We talked to 5 of them. Influence over 6 million followers, creates viral videos that are meant to normalize men wearing makeup. Okay. He often applies his natural good-looking makeup in public places like Subway, Times Square to encourage men to wear makeup more freely, proving that makeup isn't reserved just for makeup artists or big influencers like he does. He looks bold. More men wear makeup now, but will not admit it. Makeup artist and founder of Artists. He thinks it has to do with age. Younger guys seem to have far less of an issue. See, why would younger men have a less issue about wearing makeup? See, that's a program. Using skincare, nothing wrong with skincare. You got pimples and stuff, take care of that stuff. Whereas older guys are more awkward talking about their looks and what. Yeah, old dudes now wear wigs. Old dudes now wear wigs. I mean, my wife gets mad, but like a lot of my old teammates, you in your 60s and all your hair is black. Now, you dye your hair. Dye. Niggas is dyeing their hair. They dye their beards. They dye their mustaches. Because if I was to dye my mustache, I'd have to dye them brown because that's the natural color of my hair. Before it got gray, my hair was brown. Like my daughter's hair is brown. My son's hair is, I think Keelan's is black, but my 2 other sons, their hair is all brown. Not black, brown. So no makeup. I use shea butter. Yeah, that's cool. Using stuff like that. My wife put that Xmas tree up after Thanksgiving. I started feeling like time was flying. Yeah, absolutely. The last post put on Facebook was the way of the gods is simple. The way of mortals and lower dimensional beings is complicated. Most any feedback are statements of deep thought. Yeah, mine. I try to make them too. I talk a lot of shit. Makeup. Like Michael Jordan always wore eyeliner. You look at them old pictures of Michael Jordan where he wearing eyeliner. He wore eyeliner his whole career. His whole career, Michael Jordan wore eyeliner. So, yeah, no makeup for me. No makeup for me either. Fuck wearing makeup. Well, the world is pretty plain, and they're not gonna let a lot of shit happen before because they want people to spend their bread. When you walk past makeup sections in different stores now, you see billboards with men usually gay looking though. Yeah, they do look more feminine. They look like um not stereotyping, but just his look is kind of soft. Let's see. I don't know if you can say he looks soft, but this man, look at all this makeup he got on. And this is really the one eye because they got this shadowed. Again, the one eye, he got his shadow, but I can't tell if he got on makeup or not. Look at this. Is this the influencer? See? This seems like a... Now, if you got skin issues, there's nothing wrong with skin issues, but this is a little much. The Michael Jordan eyeliner. You can't really tell what he's got on. Yeah, you got a lot. Look at the hand signal, Mason hand signal. No reason a man should put that shit on his face. I guess if you on somebody made a thing about 50 Cent and the fucked up makeup he was wearing when he was on TV with somebody. Said he looked like a stiff. Can't believe they kicked me out of YouTube. They didn't really kick me out. I got to sign back in, and I never signed out. But now they're making me sign in. So that's all right. Shit, fuck them. Ain't that big a deal. Well, let me do my divination. Today in the Mayan calendar is on the long count is 13 batoons, 0 katoons, 12 tunes, 3 unals, 11 kin. And the token date would be 7 Chewin, and the Habib date would be 14 Mac, and the God of the night would be God 6, which they don't know the names because they can't read the interpretations. And 11 is Chin. Yeah, 11 is Chin. And this is the symbol, the Mayan glyph. That's the word I'm looking for. That's the glyph. And for the quick meaning of Chin is monkey, artist, trickster, principle of intelligent co-creation of the higher life, and the energy is coming from the West. Now, when I've showed this card many times before, this is the only one that really shows the day god and the night god. It doesn't say that in the card, but in the where they copied this from, that's what it means. It means the day god and the night god. And then up top here, that would be the symbol for monkey up there. This is the only card that shows you both. The ancient Toltec were keen observers of the world. Some nature was for them the visible face of the Great Spirit. Everything they saw in nature was for them an expression of the wisdom of the giver of life, it means Hanukkah. This is why they focused so much attention on the creatures around them and why animals held such an important place in their spiritual world. The monkey is no exception. The monkey is a representation of curiosity, the craving for knowledge, and the wisdom that comes as a result of that wanting to know. If we were to choose one word to define what monkey represent, that word would be wisdom. Monkey is the sign of the one who researchers, the one who learns, the one who holds the knowledge, and the one who teaches. It is the Toltec archetypical image for the wise person. The image of the card, we see the monkey and the skeleton showing the connection between two extremes of life. Dynamism of the monkey and the immobility of death. The monkey holds a knife and death holds a heart. The fact that they share the same heart is showing that both are different sides of the same living being. Although the image of the knife and the heart may call to mind human sacrifices, it is important to note that the image comes from a pre-Aztec Toltec cultics. Yes. The Aztec Toltec did not practice human sacrifice as the Aztecs, and we really don't have a lot of real researchers if the Aztecs killed as many people as they try to say. In their symbolic language, the knife represents enhanced attention, also called second attention. The skeleton or skull means transcendence, and the heart represents life. Thus, the image represents the achievement of transcendence in life that comes as a result of managing attention under awareness of our own mortality. Transcendence and special management awareness is what we call wisdom. Getting this card means that you have the need to develop passion of learning, understanding, a vocation for traveling deeply into the realms of knowledge and the skills to teach others. It is important here to consider the Toltec concept of teaching, which requires an understanding of the concept of learning. In their perspective, learning did not consist of the teacher only having the knowledge and giving that knowledge to the student. On the contrary, it was the student who would get the knowledge by him or herself. The word for the learning process was manamuska, which translates teaching yourself. In that light, the role of the teacher was not represented him or herself as a source of knowledge, but to support the students in the process that they can teach themselves. And that's what spirituality is. You got to teach yourself it. No one can teach it or give it to you. No Bible. It's something that's in you already. You're already a spiritual, magical being. And you don't need a church. You don't really need a teacher or advisor. It's already in you. And you just have to concentrate and get in touch with it. The bottom line for the Toltec sage was that there was no other teacher than the Great Spirit, and the human teachers were just supporters of the great teacher. They help appreciate to teach themselves by connecting directly with the Spirit without intermediaries. This is a sharp contrast with the modern attitudes of teachers and spiritual leaders who put themselves in a higher place to be admired by their followers, and who often would make profits out of their students' devotion. Because of this commitment to contact with the Great Spirit without distracting intermediaries, there's not much room for worshiping people in the tradition. When the teacher forgets his or her connection with the sacred source of knowledge, the soul dies, and the result is a living fraud who needs to worship others to believe in his and own fate. And so, big day for curiosity, big day for learning, and a big day for teaching. So if any of those, you got any of those coming up, that was for you. Because all this, the teachings of the Omen, or Olmec, commercially Olmec, that's why they pushed the Aztecs. The Aztecs really wasn't from that area. So that's why they push them so much. Instead of telling you about the Mayan, the Toltec, Michutec, which are also the corn people. There are a lot of other tribes, but they just want to, the Aztec were way later, and we know that the pyramid of the sun and the moon was built by the Olmec. Because they found the jade mask, which proves it was them. And they don't want to tell you it's them, though. They space aliens and all that, instead of giving credit to the Americans. That's why, I get on these mud flood crap and saying, well, these were already here. So you're saying, so what the mud flood tries to tell you is, okay, so you're saying all this European occupation stuff was here. All these European type of architect was already here. And for some reason, they had to reset everybody and leave the European architecture or burn it down and start again. That's what they want you to overstand. That's what they want you to believe. They don't want you to believe this was the land of the trees and nature. And the silly shit that they say, them New York mansions, like, well, only they were buried and only they could dig it out. That's stupid upon stupid. And they really get tied up on these world fairs where they put bread into building these temporary buildings. Like I showed you with Notre Dame, that stuff ain't hard. That technology to build that kind of cathedral been around. That ain't hard technology. It's still wood and stone. Still wood and stone. Copper, metals. So it ain't as technology advanced as they try to, get it. And again, it's trying to make a people that ain't ancient. That's their point of it all. And that's really them trying to say their right to be here. Because you'd be like, well, before the reset, the Europeans was all in here and built all this shit before the reset. Now showing you this was the land of the mounds. Land of the mound pyramid, the effigy mounds. This is what America was. Land of the trees, though, more than anything. One time we had the oldest, biggest trees in the world. And that's one of the first things occupiers did was kill all the trees. They went to war. It's almost like they did a war on the trees. And they made money. I think J. Paul Getty, wasn't lumber is how he started? Well, them old millionaires made their early money. At the phone. Oh. Damn. I swear this cigar just disappeared on me and then reappeared. Damn. Because I went to reach for it, it wasn't there. Y'all just see me reach for it. I went to reach for the cigar and it was not there. And that's why I picked it up. Okay. Oh, this is funny. So that's my problem with that kind of talk. They got AI machines right now that can build ghost cities in different locations around the world, hidden. Another thing that college students are taking advantage of, AI can write your paper. And it'd be a completely different paper than anybody else. You just put in the input and the AI will write your college paper for you. That's how kind of far we are. And you can get that done on your phone or a computer. If you write proposals, grant proposals, AI will help you write your grant proposal and try and put everything in that you needed for your grant. So, wealth is based on wisdom or substance. Poverty is based on symbolism and vanity. Well, I think the thing you'd have to also add is poverty and hunger. Poverty and hunger, because that's a way the world, the world elites have controlled is controlling the food. I mean, think about what happened during the years of the plague and who they killed. They killed a lot of the black nobility back then. A lot of them towns had black folks in them, and they spread the plague, and they say the plague just came from a flea. A flea got on the animals, and all of a sudden it's killing thousands and thousands of people. Changed the dynamics of Europe. Now, I ain't one to say, the war, like that's the problem when they get to talking about the Moors. Like the Moors were a great society in Europe when they only had small pockets. Grenada. I think that's what it's called, Grenada. That's a small part of Spain. What is it? They didn't have Aragon. They didn't have Fernando. It was Aragon, and Isabella was Aragon. Fernando was, I can't think of what that, but they never, and they got beat by, is it Charlemagne? When they got beaten, only went so far. But it's not like they spread all over Europe, and that's melanated people recreating history. The Moors wasn't that dominant. I mean, it was already black folks all around, melanated people all around the world, and in these European countries too. So, melanated people have always been everywhere. But America specifically was a melanated, just all melanated folks. No Europeans until the Europeans came over here. And that's the distinction of what America was. It was separated from the Europeans. See, in Europe, Asia, and Europe is not even really a real continent. It is a part of Asia. So those people always had mixed people always around. all these different countries and different nationalities. America was basically the same people from the top of the where the Eskimos are all the way down to the islands. It was basically the same people. Now, different languages, of course, different cultures. There's like the Toltec, what was it, Zapotec. I mean, they did a few things different, but again, the gods is basically all the same gods. Their traditions was all basically the same traditions. So. And so, I think instead of reparations, just admit we've been under European occupation. And that's that's no slight to anybody, but that's the real history. Yeah, I think people probably been using AI all the time for different businesses and technology and answers to stuff they kept secret, just giving it to everybody to use. I mean, like they used to, how long they've had computers. The computer's been around since what, the 50s? I mean, they used to be in a big room, and then they used to be you had to have the ticker programs. Those kind of programs had the cuts in them, and you run it, and that would put out certain information, whatever was on that card. I forget what those cards are called. Do y'all remember that? They had the old cards for the computer. Because that's how, when I had to register for college, we had all those cards to register, and I forget what we had to do to them to get them where we got to class or whatever. But that's how the class was. We had to get all these punch cards. Punch cards is what they was called, punch cards. And that's how I used to have to register. We registered with punch cards because you had to get the punch card for the class. And then once you registered, you'd had all the punch cards, and they put it in, and then it would tell you, they'd give you a printout of all your classes. So when I went to college, that's how you got your classes, was through punch cards. It used to be a fight too. It was riots. A couple of times it was riots because everybody had to have speech. That was one thing. You couldn't, you had to have speech at A&T or you couldn't graduate. So everybody wanted to take that class. So that was the most demanded class, was speech 1, I think it's called. I never took that shit. But I only left A&T with what, 50 credits there, 51 credits there. When I got my associate's degree, what was that? Another 20, 30 credits. Then I think my college credits is like 100 and something. I got 100 and something. I think if I went full time, I'd have less than 2 years to go. Which I was thinking about going to the U because the classes is only $10 an hour. So I was thinking about going to the U. So it's hard to beat that money, but again, to drive over there every day, or I guess I could take it online too. So I don't know. I don't know if I feel like doing all that. I'm pretty lazy. I'm pretty lazy. 20 rappers who play instruments. And it's funny when they always show melanated people. It's always, if they're not entertainers, they want to tell you how much money they have, which I don't know. In the future, they're going to have AI watching over AI that's watching over AI. Yeah, that might be a way to counter it, make the good AI and the bad AI. And that's kind of how they do everything, is divide and conquer. So why wouldn't they do it with the machines? If the machines ever get a power, man would try to divide and conquer the machines. And that's that they've been showing movies that do that forever. And that's kind of one of the things they want you to be afraid of. If you let these machines do too much, iRobot and all that, because iRobot is a series of books. I want to say iRobot is that chick didn't write iRobot, but I think it's within the Matrix series. I think iRobot is part of the Matrix series. I don't think I want to throw shit away in there. Yeah, I'll use this. Oh, my trash can is too far over. Well, it's 3 o'clock. Oh, okay. I gave 3 hours. I can't do no more. I can't do no more. I can't do no more. Next time I come on, I'll show my daughter and my wife's shoes. Because they're kind of sweet. Especially my wife's. Her Veramos is kind of sweet. Well, let's see. Let's see if I can find them. Here we go. Running shoes. See where they got the Veramos, or is these considered cushioning? Where are the Veramos? I don't see Veramos. Where is search on here? Where is search? Because I don't see him in the running. Seems like the Veramos would be with track though. Don't see him. I wonder who comes up for the names of shoes. I love that job for Nike. Just that's all I do all day is just name shit. Name that the sweat normal. Name that the sweat get ready. Just giving shit names. There's no way I can search. Ah, here we go. They're not giving to Rivera. Yeah, I don't know how to spell this shit. They just be in women's shoes. Shoes. Here we go. Women what? Shoes. Let's see if I can find it in here. Oh, I think it's these. Veramo. Yeah, here they are. All right, they got hers. I don't see hers. All right, they're basically this color. Veramos. Zoom Veramos. They're basically this color, but this is metallic. This right here is metallic, and there's some metallic highlights through here, but this is metallic. Yeah, these cost $160. Comfortable though. Comfortable. I'm thinking about getting me a pair. This is what my wife got. Comfortable shoes, worth every bit of $160. She's like, I've never spent this much on a pair of tennis shoes before. I'm like, it's well worth it. Well worth it. Well worth it. Oh, here we go. And I think my daughter, we got her this color. I think it's this colorway of 9060s. Yeah, I think it's this colorway. I think. I'd have to look at them. I on baby girl slaughter. Greetings.
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
Europeans have been on this planet for 6,000 million. People have been here for 2 million, probably. Great ascension. Thank you for the kind words. But yeah, this is what my daughter wanted for Christmas. She gonna want a pair of Veremos too. I know that, but for now, this is what we're getting her. We didn't pay 160 though. Well, we paid 160. We didn't pay. No, it was a matter of fact, it was 150. It wasn't 160. So we got them at Finish Line, maybe Finish Line. Looking fly as always, Big Pontiac salute. Well, that's nice of you to say. I appreciate it. That is very nice of you to say. Well, I've been going for 3 hours, so I'll throw this one away. It's my old cigar. And in conclusion, as always, think about yourself far as your spiritual journey is only going to come from you. Everything outside is to build on what you've learned and what you've experienced, you know. I'm an old man and I'm getting a little tired too. But discernment, use discernment. You know, everything you experience, use discernment. There's somebody else too. Splatter, what's happening?
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
But use your discernment too. You know, as you bring in an information, don't just hop on the information because it's new and it seems like you know everything, because that's kind of flawed. To know everything, you really got to be, you have to know. You really have to know, not just assume. You really have to live the knowing. I guess that's my point, is you have to live the knowing. And too often that's what we don't do. It's like, unless you're living the knowing, you don't really, it's not a firm kind of thinking, I guess is the easiest way I can put it. But when you know, it's imprinted in you. It's like inert. I guess that's a greater word. It's inert, the same way a bird knows to build a nest. It's already inside of you. And once you make a couple moves, that starts that chain reaction of even the change in yourself. You can feel like especially when you change for the good, you can kind of feel that change. The way people look at you, the people interact with you. Just when you might just change your behavior a little bit and all of a sudden people are really reacting differently around you. Because I know, like I told my wife when we met, I'm a storm. I'm grumpy. There's certain things that I go for and I don't like go for. I ain't cuss my mom out, but I had to tell her. My mom in her 80s, but I'm like, I can't have you acting this way, especially being around my daughter. Now that kind of thing gets me upset. Like, you can't act this way and be around her. I'm sorry. And that's what happens sometimes. It's like you kind of have to chastise people that you love. And especially like younger people, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm never saying I'm all right, because I'm not. That's why I'm glad I got a smart wife. Because she challenged me. We challenge each other. She gets mad. I don't really get mad, I don't really get mad. She gets mad, And to me, it's like just I like talking shit. And I can talk shit to anybody. And it's funny, my in-laws, since this election stuff, and they were so concerned about my wife before the election because, again, I didn't think like they thought. And then that's the key, is I did not think like they thought. I thought differently than they thought. Same with my mother. The way I looked at things, the way she looked at things was completely different. And none of it was from an emotional standpoint. The majority of them is all emotions. Their idea of politics was emotional politics. Instead of just looking at the bigger picture of things. And so, like when Biden turns around and pardons his son, they feel betrayed. They're like, Harris would have never pardoned him, which more than likely she would have pardoned him too. She the one, and his sentence, and he got sentenced, she would have pardoned him as soon as she got in office. That'd have been one of the first things she would have done. She would have pardoned him too. If Harris would have won, she would have definitely pardoned him. I want to remember this. So I had to write it down. I say sometime I can say some interesting things. This sim is out of your window. Don't quite understand that, but that's okay. But gather yourself up. Know your own thoughts. You know that your opinion is your opinion. That's why meditation is so cool. Truth you speak, I agree. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But you own your own thoughts. That's the biggest thing. And so when you get into different situations, you know it's truly your thought and not things you're influenced by. Because that's what happens a lot of times. We get influenced by things. And those things that influence us become our opinions on things. And so we have to understand, am I being influenced? Is this how I really feel? And we just went through a period where a lot of people were influenced and didn't even realize they were being influenced. You know, the way I felt 4 years ago, and I felt 4 years before that. You know, it's like, again, when you see the same people during these periods that never comment on your stuff, and all of a sudden they're commenting, you know, because they're emotional. It's like they haven't even, like it's almost like I've said before, I have to lower myself sometimes to deal with people. I have to lower my vibration so I could even hear them. And that's what a lot of it was. You know, I like to talk shit, but a lot of it really was I was lowering myself to their level because they showed me that they have not changed at all. Like they have not, and it's like, it was like the same things they were defending before, they're defending it the exact same way. You know, but emotionalism. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. This is Big Pontiac. This is Big Pontiac. This is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I appreciate everybody came in. I appreciate everybody that's going to watch it in the future. I hope it's something you can use.